Welcome back, how are we all doing? My name's Key, we are live for the FA Cup. We've done the AFCON. Well, we've not done the AFCON, we've been watching the AFCON earlier today. The AFCON's still very much got games left to play, including a big one tonight, by the way. Morocco against Cameroon, the hosts against Cameroon. That one's going to be a very, very good game. But tonight, we're watching the FA Cup. We're not going to be watching the AFCON, we're going to watch the FA Cup. I think this one's going to be a really, really interesting one, because honestly, Wrexham in fantastic form. Absolutely top quality at the minute, Wrexham. They're playing very, very well. And I think it's going to be a really, really interesting game. Forest, they're not particularly flying, are they? Obviously, they win against West Ham the other day, but the performance wasn't particularly good. Wrexham, 1 point off the playoffs and maybe expectant to be a Premier League side next year. I have got Cameroon against Morocco on, but I will be watching the Wrexham v Forest game. So just a heads up for anyone who wants to dash between the two, that's totally fine. I will be watching the first 30 minutes or so of Cameroon-Morocco, and then I'll be switching over to Wrexham against Forest. I can see, Nigel, you've said, hi Key, please name the Wrexham subs as soon as you know. Cheers. Okay, I'll let you know now exactly who they are. In fact, we'll go through the lineups, mate. I'll tell you the lineups. So, the lineups are as follows, just for you, Nigel. Wrexham have got Okonkwo in goal, who was very poor in the game against Swansea the other week. Arthur Okonkwo, he made an absolute howler in the game against Swansea, but he's since recovered and played very, very well in their wins against Derby. And I think against Preston he did quite well as well. At the back, they've gone for Scar, Hyam, Doyle, Dobson and Sheaf just in front of them, and then it's Longman and Casas in the kind of wing-back positions, maybe a little bit higher up the pitch. Rathbone, Broadhead and Smith are the front three, so it's very much a changed Wrexham side. Wrexham subs include Ashfield, Barnett, Connor Cody, James McLean, O'Brien, Rodriguez, Thomason and Windass. Yeah, surprising. Very, very surprising. For Nottingham Forest, they've gone for Sells in goals, Zinchenko, Marato, Cunha and Savona. They are the back four. Douglas Luiz and McAtee with Ndoye as the midfield three. Odd. Backward on the left, Hutchinson off the right and Igor Jesus through the middle. So this one's... it's a bit peculiar, I've got to say. The Forest bench is Zach Abbott, Taiwo Awoni, Dominguez, Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi, Milenkovic, Murillo, Williams and Gunn. Bizarrely, we're looking at two teams who have heavily rotated tonight. What do we make of that? Let me know your thoughts. Always says, come on Wrexham, La Pulga, welcome back, Key, mate. Cheers, mate, good to see you. Scottish GHK, how's it going, man? Hi, Key, should be a good game. I'm hoping so. And Rohale says, evening, Key, how's your day? Yeah, my day's very good. Always good. I did a good game earlier in the AFCON. I thought that was a decent, certainly a decent first half. Second half was a bit... But we had a good laugh. We had a good talk in the chat about random players from random countries and which country produces the best players per capita in terms of population size of that country. We looked at Uruguay and Argentina, and a few people gave shouts of Croatia, and even some of the old Soviet Union countries, Yugoslavia and places like that, which produced some phenomenal players. So we had a great talk earlier on the other live. It was a really, really good night, or a good game to watch. And although it wasn't a good game to watch, that should have been. And now I'm hoping for better. Hoping for better tonight. I'm hoping for goals in this one. Scottish says Torpedo, often Wrexham subs. Fulga absolutely loved how Semenyo left Bournemouth, was appreciated by all the staff members and showed respect to the team till he left. Perfect. That's exactly how you want to leave a club, isn't it? Scoring the winner in your last ever game and you go off as a hero. Fair play. Exactly what you want to see. Graham says, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Graham. TikTok, I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I'm just getting the chat loaded up. Okay. Philippines, all right, Key lad, how's it going? Ben, Northwest Derby, yeah, Preston and Wigan. Listen, we're going to keep updated on all the other FA Cup games tonight. I think I'm a little bit gutted that I haven't gone with Preston and Wigan tonight, because Preston and Wigan is just as exciting in many ways as this one. It's a derby, should be a ferocious one. Preston should be favourites at Deepdale, but still, Wigan, you never know, could have a sting in the tail. But Wrexham Forest, heavily rotating. It looks like two sides who maybe are not particularly that bothered about the FA Cup, this one, doesn't it? Rohale, I was in the TikTok chat before. Stress levels are almost critical level, so had to go. No worries, mate. Liam, how's it going? Philippines also had to jinx it. The Rangers game on Sunday is being postponed, unfortunately. Oh, no. Frankfurt v Dortmund tonight in the Bundesliga is going to be good fun. Getafe Real Sociedad, we'll keep updated on that. We obviously will keep updated on the Cameroon-Morocco game here. Cameroon defending across. It's headed behind. It's going to be a corner to Morocco. All of the Eerste Divisie games have been called off tonight as well, for those who are interested. Nijmegen and Utrecht called off. All of the Eerste Divisie games, Maastricht, Almere, Dordrecht, Halmond, all them, they've all been called off. Steve-O, I think the FA Cup should be on all three platforms like it used to be. Yeah, is it on TNT tonight, this one? I think it is, isn't it? TNT seems to get all the FA Cup privileges. I'm not sure why. But yeah, tonight it is... TNT Sports. It's also on Discovery. You can watch the Preston v Wigan game on TNT Sports 5 if you so wish. Port Vale Fleetwood Town is also on Discovery Plus, and MK Dons Oxford United is on Discovery Plus. I wonder if Discovery Plus must have got some FA Cup rights privileges. That's going to be a platform that many people are going to have to subscribe to next year. So I will have to. Discovery Plus, that's going to have... is it next year or the year after? It's got a lot of the Champions League games. Or is it Paramount? I can't remember. One of them. Rohale says, is there no real Socia Mum team? Scottish GHK, just FA Cup final protected for free TV. That's sad, innit? It's very sad. I think, don't the BBC get like certain... Like they can cherry pick. I'm sure they've bought some rights to the FA Cup, and maybe ITV might have as well, but they can cherry pick which games they do. I'm not entirely sure exactly how it works, but Rohale says, whoever is the reason for the crown symbol appearing next to my name, thanks, I appreciate it. I think it's because you're a super fan, mate. You're I think it's, let's just have a look. Top fan. Yeah, you're in the top fans on the channel. That's why. I haven't made that's. I think that's just based on number of postings and comments and stuff like that, and how often you keep coming back. I think it's just that. Yeah, it's the crown is because you keep coming back and commenting and talking. YouTube has deemed you a top fan, I think is what it's called. So it's nothing that I've done. It's nothing that anyone else has done. It is just because you like it. La Pulga says, some Premier League fans are just so reactionary. Still can't fathom that I am seeing Man City fans asking for Pep to sell Haaland. Eh? Is that actually happening? Cameroon absolutely screaming at the referee here. Is there going to be a penalty kick? Hakimi got into the box, I think. There's a pull back. No, it's a yellow card. I think it's just outside the box. It's good defending from Cameroon, if anything, but... It is very... Yeah, to be honest, mate, it is very reactionary. That is football to a T, to be honest, isn't it? It's just how... It's how people are. Nigel says, Wrexham once reached the quarters in the European Cup Winners' Cup. Can you name the team who beat them and went on to the final? Ooh, you must be talking some time back. Wrexham reaching the European Cup Winners' Cup. The team who beat them and went on to the final. Steaua Bucharest. I'll go with Steaua Bucharest. I don't know why. I'm going to throw it out there. I have no idea. It's a curveball. Hakimi's got a free kick for Morocco, about 30 yards out. Right-footed, just left of centre, So it's going to be curling in. Steve-O, I've been asked to do some filming tomorrow for a car promotion. Lovely. Enjoy, mate. Hopefully it's lucrative and profitable for you. Ro Hale says, well, that is appreciated. I need to be here. My stress is really bad if I'm not. Hey, mate, well, listen, it's good to have you. Oh, Hakimi gets it all wrong, and it's gone out for a goal kick. 1970s. I would have guessed so. If it's 70s, then maybe it isn't Steaua Bucharest. Maybe it's 70s. Maybe a Scandinavian team. I'm going to go Malmo. I don't know why. I'm going to say Malmo. What was that free kick? I know. Davey says Salford v Swindon off in the FA Cup. Is it really? Oh, well, there you go. There's one game down. Salford v Swindon was always off in the FA Cup, wasn't it? Yeah, it's the only games that are on tonight is the MK Dons v Oxford, Port Vale Fleetwood, and Preston Wigan, and obviously this one, Wrexham v Forest. Reece says a training ground, balls up there, and signing for Wigan. Good evening, sir, and how's it going? And Sham Nur says, what is the topic if the game is boring? Well, I've got some questions lined up. Yeah, I've got some questions lined up, so we could do that. We could do some questions. Anderlecht it was. Ah, I see. Anderlecht, who beat Wrexham in the Cup Winners' Cup. Interesting. Been to Anderlecht Ground. Nice place. Ro Hale says, I'm still baffled how, with a weaker squad, we held Arsenal yesterday. Mate, that's just somehow how it goes sometimes. I thought we were the better side. I thought we did really well. I thought we were the better side. Thought we deserved to get at least a point, if not more. I thought we probably should have won on a different day. If you give us Salah or Ekatike or Isak, we probably win that game. Good question that though, Nigel. Appreciate that. It was a good question. Wrexham, yeah, we could do with some Wrexham-based questions, really, couldn't we? Ro Hale says Slot showed his class yesterday. He's a likeable person. Well, there's plenty of Liverpool fans who turned on Martinelli, and ironically, Slot was the one that didn't. Steve-O, Al-Khalud, 1 red card, 3-0 to Al Ittihad. And Lapulga says, oh my God, Coventry on track to be in the Premier League after 26 years. Coventry should be in the Prem. It wouldn't be surprising if Wrexham joined them, let's be honest. Philippines, I wonder why Windass is benched. I'm one of the rare ones who wouldn't have minded him back, to be honest. I'm not quite sure of the lineups of either team, to be honest. I think both lineups are really strange. I would have thought that Wrexham would have really gone for it tonight, and I thought Forest would have really gone for it. Philippines, Delboy says Arsenal. Great. Sean McCann says predictions for Frankfurt v Dortmund. I've gone for Dortmund or draw in that one. I think Dortmund don't lose that one. Martin Gullersboo says thought he deserved the win key yesterday. Unlucky. I agree, Martin. But thank you. Good to see you, mate. Good to chat to you as always. Shamner says, how about underrated managers last 20 years? I like it. Let's do that. Last 20 years. 20 years underrated managers. Yeah. Like it. We can do that. We'll do that once the game kicks off if it's getting a bit slow. Anyone else got any ideas of topics we could maybe discuss if the game is particularly slow tonight? Get them in. Get your ideas in the chat and we'll cover them off as the game goes on. La Pulga says Wrexham 6 points off second place though. Yeah, even the automatic spot's not out of the question for Wrexham, is it? And Rohale says, do you know what this means? Arsenal haven't beaten us this season. Listen, it doesn't mean anything until we'll have to see if Arsenal still win the league at the end of the season. That's going to be the big question for them. Nigel says, bonus question, who did they beat in the final? Clue, it is a Prem club. Anderlecht beat someone in the final in the 70s of a Cup Winners' Cup. And they're in the Prem now. Cup Winners' Cup, 70s. Good side in the 70s in the Prem now. Spurs. Maybe Spurs at a push. I'll go with Spurs. Key says, I'm surprised Liverpool didn't get that penalty. Which one? I thought we were good value for 2 penalties yesterday, if I'm dead honest. Will says, I'm picking this key. Cameroon 2, Morocco 1. I think I've got Cameroon or draw in this one as well. Adam JFT says, Forest for the win today. Good to see you, Adam. And Steve also says, players who you'd have taken at 30 or over instead of younger than 30. Yeah, that's not bad. Maybe, players who peaked late kind of thing. Would you say that? Is that maybe a... Yeah, players over 30. Players who peaked late. I mean, I've got a few already there. Players who peaked late. West Ham Cup Winners' Cup final again. Do you know what? And I did know that because I was on holiday in Devon, in North Devon. It wasn't really a holiday, I guess. It was a little cottage getaway. Me, my missus and my little girl, we went down to one of the lovely parts of the UK in North Devon, and we met a West Ham fan at a place called, what was the castle called that we went to? Oh, it's a little castle, and it's like a theme park. It was dead good for kids anyway. We went in and we got talking to this guy who was the runner of one of the rides, and he was a massive West Ham fan, and he was telling me about, I think he went to that game, and I remember talking to him about it and all right, like that, when he was talking about all the trouble that they had at the ground and all this sort of stuff. So that does stick in my mind now you've said it. No good after the fact. I'm great after the question's been asked, but I should have known that. La Pulga says, what the hell are Forest doing playing McAtee at centre defensive midfield? Look at Forest's lineup, mate. Forest's lineup is all over the place. That's Wrexham's right now. Wrexham's on screen at the minute, but Forest will be coming up. Forest's lineup's all over the place. Key says the team was West Ham. Hey, I'm glad you knew it, mate. I didn't know it off the top of my head until I was told. I should have known. I should have known before. D says Josh Windass could be going back to Rangers. Is that why he's not playing? Possibly. I mean, to be honest, I don't think so, because if you look at Wrexham's team, they've left quite a few of the players out. Rodriguez isn't playing. McLean's not playing. I have no idea. Is Kiefer Moore injured? What's going on with Kiefer Moore? Rohale says, I have a question. What is currently the lowest ranking ex-Premier League team? That's got to be Swindon, hasn't it? Is it Swindon or Oldham? Oldham's League 2, so it could be Oldham. I think it'd be Oldham or Swindon, I'm sure. They are the only 2 ex-Premier League teams that I can think of in League 2. I don't think anyone's gone down to National League, have they? Key says, what's your prediction, mate? Well, before the game, I really thought Wrexham. I thought Wrexham would take the game seriously and Forest might rest a few. Instead, Forest have massively rested and Wrexham have massively rested. So I don't really know what to make of this. This could be a 4-4, this one. It could be a... Yeah, I honestly, I couldn't tell you. It could be anything. It's a total shot in the dark. I'd like to see Wrexham go through, personally. We've got 3-star in the chat who's a massive Forest fan. I would imagine, well, he said, to be honest, I don't know why I would imagine it. He said that he would love Forest to go through because winning builds momentum and that might help them in the league. Butterborn says Steve Bull. Steve Bull, what about him? What, peaking late in his career? Would we say Steve Bull did that? I don't know. O'Hale says, cheers. Well, that was the shortest quiz in history. Steve O says, if you could take one player from Real Madrid and Barca, who would you take other than Mbappe and Yamal? Oh, Pedri and Valverde. That's easy. Yeah, Pedri and Valverde. INMFC says, who's the most underrated Liverpool player? Most underrated, probably Gravenberch. Yeah, Gravenberch, I think. Gravenberch's so good. I genuinely think he's top 3, top 5 in world football in terms of his position. La Pulga says Oldham went in 2022 to the National League. I know we watched the National League playoff final last season. It was brilliant. Oldham against Key, come on, you've got to know this. Oldham against... Who did we play in the final? Vanarama final. Oldham against... It was a London-based team, wasn't it? Oh, Key, you've had a shocker. It was literally one of the most watched games we'd done on this channel up to Christmas. I don't even want to look at the screen in case someone tells me that is infuriating. How do you not know this? Oldham against... It wasn't Luton. Hi, Key. How's it going, mate? Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Oldham against... Who did they play in the playoff final? We literally watched it. We watched it on this channel. And they was losing. They came from behind. It wasn't Barnet. I'm sure it wasn't Barnet. Steve O says, solid offer, Real Madrid, McDonald's from our midfield, and I'd ask for Valverde if we had cash. McAllister, anyone will take McAllister at this point. Jake says, most underrated player is Wirtz. The hate he gets is insane. I think Wirtz is very, very good, but I don't think I would say that he's underrated per se. Chamadju has been stretchered off for Cameroon. The young Stoke player is stretchered off with his knee already bandaged up and he's in tears. He's upset. I think that's his it is his AFCON over, let's be honest. He isn't coming back before the end of the tournament. And Abimbe comes on in his place. Dina Abimbe comes on for Chamadju. Chamadju, who scored in the game against Ivory Coast earlier in this campaign, has been substituted off. Southend, it was La Pulga. Thank you, mate. It was. Hey, Chad Smith. My favourite non-American American. How you doing, mate? Wrexham, what do I reckon? I think Wrexham will... I don't know, you can't really predict it because they're both massively rested and rotated in this game now. I would have said Wrexham. If it was full strength, if it was Kiefer Moore and McLean and maybe Rodriguez and Cody and all that, I think Wrexham would have beat Forest tonight. Instead, they've rested everyone. McLean's on the bench, Cody's on the bench, Rodriguez is on the bench, Kiefer Moore's not even in the side. I don't know. I don't know what to see tonight. I don't know what we're going to see. Jake says, who's playing key in the AFCON? Right now, it's Morocco against Cameroon. It's 0-0. We are about to kick off in the Wrexham game. Loco says, key, Cameroon and Morocco quarterfinals on, and you're doing Wrexham. Come on. I mean, yeah. Obviously, I am a massive racist. Alleged. I'm kidding. Obviously, I've done more of the AFCON than anyone else. I think more other Watchalong channels they've all binned it off. Whereas we've watched the Equatorial Guinea against Burkina Faso game, and it was one of the best games we've ever done on this channel. I loved it. So no, I'm not doing Cameroon Morocco because I thought, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you're right. I thought Morocco, Cameroon would be a very good game, but I thought Wrexham Forest would be a better game. I wasn't aware that Wrexham and Forest would rotate as heavily as they have. Scottish GHK says, sorry folks, got to go. Enjoy the game, quizzing and banter. No worries, Scottish. See you in a bit, mate. Thank you very much. And Reece says, John Victor should go nowhere near that Forest starting 11 again. I am Cruz says, can't be a racist and also watch the Welsh. Whoosh. Is Igamane in the lineup? No, I don't believe he is. But Morocco have scored. Morocco have scored. It's 1-0 and it's El Kaabi who stuck it away. And just before we switch over to the Wrexham game, is it El Kaabi or is it Brahim Diaz? Who's got the final touch here? Cameroon 0, Morocco 1. 27 minutes on the clock. And the Moroccans, the hosts, have taken the lead. Brahim Diaz is celebrating, but I don't know if it's Diaz or El Kaabi who actually get the final touch here. Brahim Diaz is celebrating twice. He's gone and celebrated with his teammates, and now he's run off over to the other corner and celebrated. This is overkill. I think it's El Kaabi. I don't know, it might have been Brahim Diaz. El Kaabi gets the header. No, it is. It's Brahim Diaz. It is Brahim Diaz. Was there a handball in there? Was there a handball in there? No, it's off his thigh. He's kind of shagged it in, if anything. It's 1-0 Morocco. Brahim Diaz, ex-Manchester City player. Brahim Diaz, currently of Real Madrid, ex-AC Milan, of course. He is the goal scorer. El Kaabi header. Brahim Diaz ran off his man and thrusted it in. And there you go. Right. Let's put Wrexham on. Come on, Wrexham. Sorry, 3-star, if you're watching. Ronnie says, Brian coming home for the derby. Yeah, he might be. Maybe Brian and Burmo's back for that City United game. Ooh, Steve-O says, I'm watching the Cameroon and then the Dortmund game. Nice, enjoy it, mate. Sarah, I can't watch anything. SmackDown is in Berlin, so the kids are watching that. SmackDown Berlin. And Shamner says it's been a trend that a lot of clubs are not taking the FA Cup seriously. You'll see that over the weekend. Several clubs will put out reserve players. I'm pretty confident that Liverpool will on Monday night against Barnsley, funnily enough. The FA Cup has almost... Well, I wouldn't go as far as overtaken the Carabao Cup in terms of like how little people care about it. But it is a tournament that gets... A lot of teams are heavily rotating it. In it, and it's almost disrespectful, isn't it? Ro Hale says we have Barnsley Monday. Please, Liverpool, take it seriously. I'm telling you, mate, we'll change a lot of players for that. I think you'll see Calvin Ramsey, Mamadashvili, Joe Gomez, probably Andy Robertson coming back in. I think you'll see Endo maybe if he's available. I think you'll definitely see the likes of Rio Engamoa playing and Chiesa. I am Cruz says, I wonder if all the United fans who were laughing at my Eddie Howe shout agree now Keano's said it. Eddie's turned him down anyway, so it doesn't matter. I don't know, mate. I think if United were serious about Eddie Howe, I think he'd go. La Pulga says, Man City will play both of Heskey's kids tomorrow. And Steve-O says that Dortmund striker is crazy. Girassi, yeah, Girassi, what a player he is. Jake, I said it, Morocco should go through. 2 minutes later, they score. You're a jinx, Jake. Jake the jinx. Is that Ryan Reynolds in the stands there? I think it is. I think we're about to get underway anyway. Wrexham and Nottingham Forest. Two heavily rotated sides, it must be said, but still, two very, very good teams. And I think we might see a good game here. I'm hoping for a good game here anyway. But either way, we've got some topics to talk about in the chat. So I want to get your thoughts on. We've got quizzes. We've got topics to discuss. So even if the game is a little bit dull, we'll be chatting away. I want to get your thoughts on the most underrated managers of the last 20 years, which was a topic put forth by Shamner, our friend who comes on regular, Shamner. He suggested, let's have a discussion about who are the most underrated managers of the last 20 years. Let me know your thoughts on that one. Lisha says, not this conversation again. Eddie Howe isn't anywhere near Man United standards. Not having Jason Tindall in the United dugout. What do you mean Eddie Howe's not near United standards? You've just appointed Ruben Amorim. Who's United standards then? Which manager are you looking at? You're not about appointing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, a guy who failed at Cardiff. Who's United standards? I'm surprised United even have any standards anymore. If you're not prepared to appoint a guy the only guy who's won a trophy with Newcastle in the last half a century, I think maybe you need to look at what your standards actually are, because I don't think United are going to get any Zidans or anyone like that. They're not going out there and competing for the best of the best of the best. De Zerbi, says Scouseby. Hey, De Zerbi might be, but is De Zerbi better than Eddie Howe? I don't think so. Here you go, down the left-hand side. Forest with a chance, should be one. Oh, unlucky. It was Jesus over the bar, and we are 90 seconds in, and we've already had our first chance. Howe's definitely better than De Zerbi. I Am Crute says, I laughed at the Luis Enrique shout, but he is out of contract in the summer. Luis Enrique is not going to Man United. No. I do think he would have the biggest uplift there. I think he would have a huge, huge impact, but I don't see him going there. Lisha says United can easily get a Zizou, Xavi, Glasner and Iraola all levels above Howe. How's Iraola levels above Howe? Mate, come on. Eddie Howe's better than Andoni Iraola. Listen, he's won something. He's played in the Champions League. He's done that level. Iraola's not. Iraola's a promising young manager, but he should be getting Man United job. Same with Glasner. Glasner's done well at Palace, but I don't believe Glasner's achievement to eclipse Eddie Howe's personally. Ronnie says, as a United fan, I don't care who they are as long as they know how to use the academy. It's United's DNA, something Ruben just didn't understand. And Shamner says, my first choice will be Big Sam. Saves so many clubs from relegation. Sunderland, Everton, Crystal Palace. And Sarah says, Wrexham manager Phil Parkinson would be a good shout. He would. Yeah, Phil Parkinson to United. That's a great shout, Sarah. 3 stars says, got a plate of sausage rolls watching the game. Don't break the TV if I have to throw them. Even the plate is a paper one. Sausage rolls for tea. Love that. Give me heartburn. I don't think I've had a sausage roll in at least a year, if not longer. Bro Hale says Eddie Howe goes under the radar because he isn't the most animated. He's also very unglamorous, isn't he? I think if his name was Eduardo Hauetalso or whatever, something like that. Hauatini. Eduardo Hauatini. I'm telling you, United fans would love him. It's the not fashionable name with Eddie Howe. That's what it is. This year, you telling me Glasner's resume isn't better than Howe's? I don't think so, no. I don't think so. I think what Eddie Howe's done at Newcastle is... I mean, you could argue Glasner's is as impressive, but I think Eddie Howe's is better. Like I said, I think Glasner is a very, very good manager at Frankfurt, but I mean, I don't necessarily think that alone is all that impressive. Like I said, Steven Gerrard got to a Europa League final. Why is that delusional? That's arrogant, Lisha. That's very arrogant. Howe hasn't won or got anywhere near a European trophy. I know, but again, I don't find that to be particularly impressive. There's plenty of managers who've got to Europa League finals. Gareth Southgate to United, says Sarah. Alicia says, right, and you telling me not many managers have won the EFL Championship or the Carabao Cup? I think that winning the Championship and coming up and stabilising Bournemouth and not only that, but then doing the hard yards with Newcastle in terms of taking them from a side who were right down there, right into the Champions League and steadying them and probably, I mean, there's every chance they qualify for it again this year. Honestly, I think what he's done at Newcastle is more impressive than, and that's, you know, you're looking at just trophies. He's won a trophy at Newcastle, so he's done at least what Glasner's done. But I also think he's done the hard yards in terms of making a team who's not top four into a steady top four side. I think he probably will make top four, top five, maybe not top four, but I think they can get top five this year. D says, it's the money. What money? What money? What money's Eddie Howe had? Eddie Howe's had less money than many give him credit for. You know, I know they've got Saudi money, but honestly, it's not. They've had a lot less than people give them credit for. I am Cruz says Phil Brown to Manchester United, give him the on-pitch half-time team talk. And I am Cruz says Southgate wouldn't even be a bad appointment for United. He stabilised England. Yeah, I just think there's that crossover from international managers to club managers. If I was, listen, for me, I'd love nothing more than Gareth Southgate to United. That would be fantastic, and hopefully Sir Jim Ratcliffe does do that. But I know if it was me making that decision, not a chance. International managers to club managers generally doesn't work. Steve-O says, new managerial news, Manchester United have signed Mr. Blobby. And Ronnie Dodge, I hope Darren Fletcher starts Lacey after his cameo against Burnley. And Sham Nurse is winning the EPL, Claudio Ranieri. That's very true. Rohale, Nuno Espirito Santo to United to exercise the team. Alicia says, qualifying or keeping a team up isn't nowhere near United standard. You need to be a Luis Enrique. Hang on a minute. Luis Enrique admittedly wins the treble, but has spent an absolute fortune to get there. Eddie Howe has not done that. He's done... What I'm saying is, as a manager, he's done a lot more in terms of versatility. He's done the bringing a team up from the Championship. He's done the other thing, which is bringing a team up from the Championship and then steadying them as a proper Premier League club for like 5-6 years, whatever it was he stayed at Bournemouth for. He's then gone to Newcastle, who were right down there, by the way, when he came in. They haven't spent that much money, got him in the Champions League, won the League Cup, now might well get them in the Champions League for a third time. I think the guy deserves a lot more credit than he gets, and I genuinely do think it is the English manager thing. It's the unfashionable English name. If his name was Eduardo Howatini, I'm telling you, United would be all over him. Rohale says, I want to point out I've been under a lot of pressure in real life. The stream has provided some temporary relief. So cheers. Oh, Rohale, that is absolutely, like, really, really lovely to hear, mate. Really, really lovely to hear. And please do keep coming back and getting involved in the chat. It's lovely to hear from you. And you've always got some intelligent questions and opinions on footy. We love it. This is all part of it. Ronnie says it's going to go to either Carrick or Ollie until the summer. And Ronnie says it's coming out that Rashford is going to Barcelona permanently in the summer. Rashi to Barca. Joe says, Key hardly spent anything when we first qualified for the Champions League. And I am Cruz says, do United need to speak to an Ancelotti or a Tuchel and say, come after the World Cup? I could maybe see Tuchel. Tuchel would make sense. And I actually would quite like that, to be honest. I don't want Tuchel managing England. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I think he's gone there because it's good money. Dortmund have scored against Frankfurt. Max Bayer. He's one that Liverpool should be keeping an eye out for. Max Bayer. I am Cruz. If I was a United fan and Eddie Howe got appointed, I wouldn't be angry at all. I just feel like, mate, they're always looking for that shiny European name. You know, the new kid on the block. I actually think United fans would be more excited if they appointed... Xavi than Eddie Howe. If they appointed Xavi, there'd be a load of Newcastle fans, a load of United fans delighted by that. It's a free kick to Wrexham, 30 yards out. Joe says, Man U fans are way too arrogant for how they've been recently. Their successful history means naught. Listen, I understand that United fans would expect maybe better than their recent years of success, lack of success has maybe proved, but I'm baffled as to why they would think they'd have the pick of the best managers on the market. They're not in Europe, they're not in the Champions League, they won't be in the Champions League next season. They're a mess on the pitch and off the pitch, really. Some exciting bits about them in terms of maybe the attack's a little bit better than it was last season, but it's a difficult one. Philippine says, we've been an absolute shambles. Surprised no one is after Roll. He's made a title challenge possible. That's the hardest type of thing for a manager to walk into is not got a great deal of money to spend. Squad's a bit of a shambles. Can you make the squad better by better than the sum of their parts? Welsh Wing says, what are your thoughts on Thomas Frank holding the Arsenal Cup? It's mad that in it for an under pressure Spurs fan to do that is crazy. I think he did speak on it though, didn't he? I think he did say, I obviously wouldn't have done it if I'd have realised. Didn't he say I didn't realise that it was an Arsenal Cup? Welsh Wing, I've just seen the Conor Bradley thing, and again I apologise because you're right, he doesn't. However, it looks like when he holds his knee, he does, which was I believed for a while, and probably Martinelli too. You don't have to apologise. We all get things wrong, mate. I very nearly did one time get things wrong, but yeah, it can't happen to anyone. 3 stars says Keith Thomas and Wrexham's Mickey Thomas, 2 legends in world football who rattle Arsenal fans. Be Yourself Dylan says Littler signed sponsorship deal worth 20 million. Pfft, absolute peasant. I'm about to sign one worth 25. Absolutely shocking. Wanderer says, maybe we just need an Eddie Howe, not Edwina Howie. And Sarah says that, Steve-O, Schlotterbeck and Van Dijk. Schlotterbeck is one Liverpool keep being linked with, yeah, massively so. D says Voltemada, 75 million. Well, Voltemada's been quite good, but I mean, admittedly, mate, they did just bank 130 for Isak. So, it's not like they've sold Isak for 130. They've paid 50 whatever for Wisser, 60 million for Wisser, and 70 million for Voltemada. That's neither here nor there, is it? 15 minutes in, and we're still yet to have really a meaningful chance in this game. I Am Crute says, these United fans would have kicked off hearing they were appointing Aberdeen. Aberdeen's Sir Alex Ferguson. They would have absolutely kicked off with Fergie. This, she said, Edward John Frank Howe, how the standards have fell. Why does his first... That's just proven my point. The fact that his name matters. Why have you full named him? Because I guarantee you the answer is, if it was Eduardo Howatini, you'd be all over him. You'd be all over him. Ben says Ryan Lowe against his former club. Costello almost made it 1-0. And Shamner says, I think David Moyes to do what he did at Everton with a shoestring budget. Yeah, Shamner, very, very good point. David Moyes was terrific at Everton. The problem with Everton is that I think he reached a point with them where he kind of hit a ceiling. He couldn't go any further with them because they didn't have the money to take him on anymore. And I think they're still kind of in that boat, to be honest. Rohale says, how's this? After the match, Arteta actually acknowledged that it's not easy playing against the champions. Did he really? I haven't seen much of the post-match interviews. I just know that Arne Slot defended Martinelli, didn't he? Arne Slot said, I believe he's a nice guy, and I don't think that he meant to... I don't think he necessarily believed he was that injured. And you can't expect him to think so clearly in the 94th minute. So hopefully all the Arsenal fans who were giving Arne Slot some grief will lay off him a little bit, because he's come out and defended your player when not many others were. Sarah says they did kick off with Fergie. They was close to sacking him. Yeah, no, they was. Absolutely. I think the point they were getting at here, sir, is that they wouldn't have even appointed him in the first place if they had the types of fans they've got now, and they were looking and going, well, we're Man United. We should be appointing X, Y, and Z. Which, let's be honest, Ferguson was a fantastic manager at the time and came in, did the job well. I Am Crute says they won't, but what if Newcastle win the Champions League this season? Lots of retracted statements. The thing is, they don't need to win it, even if they just go to like the quarters. Quarters is mad progress for Newcastle, isn't it? Let's be honest. Wanderer says, let's sign a petition and get Key to be the new United boss. Oh, they would sink like a stone. Chance for Forest. It's 1-0. Is it going to count? Is it going to count? Douglas Luiz is going like that. I think it's going to be a free kick. Whoa, this one's going to get checked. Douglas Luiz is celebrating. He's celebrating, but I don't think they're going to give this one. The linesman puts his flag up. Whoa, this one's going to be a free kick. Paul Tierney has said no, it's a free kick. Is it going to get VAR'd? Is there even VAR? Oh my God, no there isn't. Ball gets played in here. Do you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with that. At all. Unless he's offside, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That should be a goal, shouldn't it? That should be a goal. How has he ruled that out? I Am Crute says, doing any chat streams at any point soon, Kit? I am, mate. Yes, I am, absolutely. So I can only do them on days where we only have one game. So the AFCON's kind of taking precedence at the minute, because if I do it on days where I have two games, then we end up having a chat at like maybe a talk show type of approach at like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. That runs till about 2. And then we have the game at 3, half 3 for the AFCON, and then a game straight after. It's just a long-ass day. So I'm doing it on days where we only have one game, basically, which is difficult to predict and plan. But it might just be that I go on lives sporadically for the time being, and then maybe I start to plan a regular show, like every Wednesday at this time, or every Tuesday at this time. But yes, we'll absolutely do talk shows again. What date are we on now? The 9th. Forest coming into the box. The next one will probably be Monday. We've got the Liverpool-Barnsley game on Monday night. So we'll probably do one on Monday, if you're around for it. Rohale says Slot has conducted himself brilliantly, and Rohale, the way Slot set us up against Real Madrid and Arsenal was excellent. Us Pool fans were a tad nervous beforehand. Welsh wing, no VAR until the 6th round, I think. Welsh wing Key would play a 10-0 and bore United fans to death if he was manager. I'd go in and I'd be like, right, Harry Maguire, I think you've been a centre mid all your life, lad. So I'm putting you in the centre of the park. Harry Maguire in the middle of the park. Sesko, mate, you were a born left back. Rolo says, is it a goal? It isn't. No, it got ruled out. And I thought it was quite harsh, actually. I think that one should have stood, but there's no VAR in the FA Cup, and the referee ended up giving a handball, I think. It's going to be a corner to Wrexham. And Nadeem says, hi, what's your Celtic score prediction? My Celtic score prediction, I think Celtic are in a weird moment, let's be honest. But I think they'll turn it round. I think they'll pick up 3 points. They've not been great, obviously, since Wilfred Nancy, but yeah, I don't know. I can't really rule them out ever of being in the title race. But yeah, Dundee tomorrow. Strike from Wrexham. Oh, just wide. Yeah, Dundee United tomorrow could well be a nice one for Celtic to get back to winning ways. I would imagine they win. I am Crute says Canate has gone very much under the radar last couple of months. He's been very good, except that Leeds 3-3. And I am Crute says Key would spot Bruno Fernandes's unreal goalkeeping ability. Yeah, no, not Bruno Fernandes. No, Lisandro Martinez. Shorter. Lisandro Martinez, get him in goal. Would hire United Strand as assistant manager. Yeah. The United Strand, Frank. Wrexham corner, headed behind. It's going to be another corner. Cunha, the centre-back. Welsh Ring says, wait, Robbie Savage is the Forest Green manager. Since when? Mate, that's been for ages. That's ages and ages. Robbie Savage has done really well at Forest Green. Really well. He might be a League 2 manager next year. Slot looks like he could be a captain on the Star Trek Enterprise. Right. Corner kick for Wrexham. Corner kick for Wrexham. I am Crute on a serious unbiased point of view, sorry. How far away do you think United are from a Premier League? That's a good question to throw out to the chat. How many players do you think United need to be in and amongst a Premier League title race again? I look at that United side and I think, I'm not even kidding, I think they're 10 players away. Not just like 10 in terms of first 11. I think they're probably 10 squad and first team combined. It's probably about 10. I think they need like basically half a new squad. Because there's just no way. There's absolutely no way. Realistic signings. Lisha says, to be fair, if you're going to look at Luis Enrique's resume and compare him anywhere, how that is stuff. I'm not comparing Luis Enrique to Howe. What I'm saying to you is United can't attract to Luis Enrique. I don't think United can attract to Luis Enrique, but I think that Eddie Howe is a manager that United could attract and should. That's exactly the level that United should be looking at. Joe says 11, and I am Crute says, give us realistic signings. Don't just say buy Mbappe and Haaland. Oh, claim for the penalty. No, it's a free kick to Forest. It was just outside the box. Graham says it'll take at least 10 years. And Rohale says United, honestly, they're years away. They need about six new signings. I honestly think that's very, very ambitious. Yeah, very ambitious. 3-star, 6 entire Premier League squads for United to win the Premier League. And I am Crute says Ranić said they needed open heart surgery, didn't it? Yeah, and honestly, I don't think that's been done. I think back to front, United need, yeah, like I said, 10 new signings. Probably 10, maybe even a touch more, maybe 11, 12, but 10. There's nobody in that squad. Like, Yoro and Heaven, fine. Delict, questionable. Strike! Good save from Okonkwo. Lisha says, in our banter era, we have still won way more trophies than Arsenal, who are supposed champions. Yeah, but Arsenal's squad is a lot better than United's. I know you wouldn't even deny that, mate. No one's denying that United have been more successful at winning smaller trophies. But in terms of actually being you're not better than Arsenal. You're nowhere near Arsenal. Absolutely nowhere near them. Leagues away. Welsh Wing, I think the board needs to go for United first. But they keep changing the board, mate. They've changed. What was his name? Ed Woodward. They had him not that long ago. He got foisted out. They had the other fella in. He got turfed out. You know, now they've got Barada and Wilcox. They'll probably get turfed out. It's just a never-ending cycle. This says Delict is a better centre-half than Canate. Yeah, okay. Okay. De Ligt is shocking. He's average at best. Edward Wood suddenly doesn't look that bad at his job now. And right, and would you say a better squad wins you trophies? A better squad should win you trophies, yeah, if managed correctly. Better squad, I mean, like I said, they'll win a title this year. United are nowhere near that. United have been successful at winning, let's be honest, League Cups and Europa Leagues and Carabao Cups and, not League Cups, FA Cups. But, yeah, like I said, I don't think they've done anywhere close to Arsenal in terms of ability, and I don't think you would even argue that if you're being dead honest with yourself. Joe says, I think they need new owners more than anything. I would be angry, but Amanda Staveley would fit. And Alicia says, because when Arsenal fans come in your chat and banter Liverpool, you go off their lack of trophies. Yeah, because that is exactly that's what Arsenal have craved and not been very good at. But I'm not trying to argue that Man United have a better squad than Arsenal. They don't. They're nowhere near. They're nowhere near. Steve-O said, my remake of United would be Coble, Wan-Bissaka, Martinez, Murillo, Robinson, Baleba, Bruno, Menu, and Bermo, Sesko, Diallo. Fair enough. It's not a bad shout. Welsh Ring says, want to know a fun fact key? Juventus adopted their black and white stripes after Notts County sent them shirts when their pink ones kept running in the rain. Ah, is that why Juventus have a pink away kit? Oh, hey, I knew the Notts County thing, or I knew that they based them on Notts County. I didn't know that they'd sent them kits. That's interesting. I like that. I'll remember that. Blake says, how much longer do you think Man United can run on Fergie's juice, getting harder to attract players? They've not got the pull that they had. I don't think they are running on Fergie's juice anymore. I think that's long gone. I think they're running on ability to spend big. They'll attract people because they'll give them big wages, and that's always a very dangerous place to be. So I don't think Man United are running on Fergie's juice anymore. I think that ran out. I think they were running on Fergie's juice when they signed players like Pogba and Zlatan, and when they weren't necessarily in a title race, but they were still thought of as a big side that would compete in the Champions League and whatever. This might be, what is this, a third year out of the Champions League? Coming up. Tough one. Scott says, that's the problem at United. Hire a sporting director with a vision and stick with it. Stop firing the manager every year. Be prepared to suffer for a year or two before the results start improving. Trust the process. Trust the process. Who knew? Arsenal got it right in the end. Alicia says, if their better squad isn't winning, Nish, then it's pointless. Well, I mean, like I said, I agree with you that Arsenal haven't been very good at winning trophies in the last 10 years. I'll absolutely stand with you on that one, mate. No problem. What I'm saying is that I think Arsenal are a better side than Man United now, and have been over the last 5-6 years. That still doesn't escape the fact that United have been better, and that's a fun fact to point out, that United have won more in the banter era than Arsenal have in the greatest era or whatever. I agree with you, but it doesn't change the fact that Arsenal are a better side with a better squad and are miles ahead of United. Welsh Ring says, key at United would be like Rafa at mate. I would be well worse than Rafa at Everton. Rafa at Everton was still trying, I believe. He got a hard rap. I am Cruz says Arsenal will win a league before United, let's be honest. And United couldn't tempt a Pogba now like they could before. Yeah, I was going to say, look at the players United are targeting. They're looking at like your Balebas. Wrexham are in. Chance, strike. That's poor. Got to do better there. Must do better. It's a good counter-attacking move. Got played in on the far side. And it's really, really unlucky. Nottingham Forest giving the ball away so cheaply in the middle of the park. It's too easy, that. Far, far too easy. Oh, and he just drags it. It's there, basically. He's got a clean shot on Goldsmith. Who is it who rolls him in? I think it was Rathbone. It might have been Broadhead. I don't know if it was Rathbone or Broadhead that just rolled it to the right. Perfect layoff. And he's left centre of the goal, smashes it and just drags it wide. La Pulga says the problem with United was that they did not sack him because of the results. The criticisms were the reason, which is just blasphemous. Yeah. He had a pop at the board. The board didn't like that. The board sacked him. That's a very dangerous place for Man United to be. And honestly, there's not a manager around Europe, I think, that would look at that and go, I don't know, I'm not sure I like that. Ruben Amorim got told how to play football. He got told what formation, and he said, I don't like that. So he basically threw his toys out the pram. It's going to be a corner to Forest. He threw his toys out the pram, and now United are... United sacked him off, didn't they? They said, no, you're not... If you don't play the way we want to play, then out you go, even though they signed him for exactly that basis. Rohale says, Arsenal, I'm almost certain will win the league this season. I absolutely think they will. Not sure about the Champions League, though. See, I think it'll be the opposite. I really do. I've thought all season that Arsenal are going to do something in the Champions League, finally, but I don't think they're going to win the league. I could be wrong. 3-star says, horse dung on the Racecourse Ground from us. And Philippine says, Bruges are the latest after Gassama. And I Am Crute says, we know the board have issues though. Jose wanted Boateng and Oblak. Ollie wanted Haaland and Rice. That's it. Yeah. And that's the level that's dropped, isn't it? That is the level that has dropped. And now United are shopping in the sort of lower level Premier League teams. That's the rung they're looking at. Let's go and take the best players from the bottom half Premier League sides. The Cunhas, the Mbermos, maybe the Balabas. They'll go and get some players like that. Callum says, what channel? It's on TNT, mate. It's on TNT. TNT Sports 1. Ollie Marley, what are you doing this weekend? I am doing the Spanish Cup final on Sunday, as well as Derby County against Leeds in the FA Cup. I am also doing Liverpool-Barnsley on Monday. Tomorrow, I am doing Everton-Sunderland, followed by Tottenham against Aston Villa. La Pulga, like if results were the reason they would have kicked him out of Manchester the minute they lost to Grimsby. Well, there was a lot of people who said they should have sacked him at that point, but they stayed with him. They should have sacked him last season, if we're being dead honest. But they stuck with him. Samo Bob says, the problem with the league is no one is challenging Arsenal. Maybe if City reinforce. See, that's what City do in January's though, isn't it? They go and they get... If they go and sign, they got Semenyo, maybe they go and get Gueye, maybe they go and add, I don't know, one or two others potentially. They can step it up a notch. I'm surprised Bowen's still at the Hammers. I'd love Jared Bowen at Liverpool. Absolutely love it. Alicia says, that's winning us trophies, mate. I'm not complaining. No, well, I know, but it's not the trophies that you want, is it? If all that United get over the next 5 years is a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup. Let's say, if someone said to you, mate, you can win a Carabao Cup or an FA Cup in the next 3 years, or you can qualify for the top 4 every single one of them years, which one would you take? Because I know what the answer is, and it's not the fucking Carabao Cup and the FA Cup, is it? Like, you'll still be able to hold that over Arsenal and say, well, we won more than you. And that's great. That's absolutely great. And I hate that football's like that now, but it is like that, isn't it? It is like that you would absolutely take 3 top 4 finishes over a Carabao Cup and an FA Cup in the next 3 years. You would. Of course you would. Scott Downer says, I want the Premier League more than the Champions League. Both would be just fine as well. And Liam Werner says, qualify for top 4. Lisha says, we will qualify for the Champions League this season. 1000% key, I promise you. But I hope you do, mate, because I hope at the end of the season we can have this conversation again, and it makes it a lot easier to have the conversation once after the fact. But I don't think you will. I don't think United finish in that top 4. And I honestly don't think you finish top 5, if I'm dead honest. Because top 5 might just get you to Champions League football, depending on other stuff and, how Palace do in the Conference League and how Forest do and how Villa do and all this stuff. That's going to be a factor in whether or not 5th gets England another Champions League spot. Alicia says, Key, got a deal. If we don't qualify for the Champions League, then you can choose any forfeit to do. It doesn't make any difference. You don't need you to forfeit, mate. You don't need to do any forfeit. We'll just have a chat at the end of the season, because I think it'll be a laugh if United don't qualify for it. And I think, well, when United don't qualify it. Shay says, is it true if Villa win the Europa League and finish top 4 that the top 6 get Champions League? Top 6 if... Yeah, possibly, actually, yeah. If Villa were to win the Europa League and finish top 4, then yes, it's entirely possible. Oh my God! Is it going to count? Liberato Casas has just smashed it in the bottom corner. Wrexham 1, Forest 0. 25 yards out, Casas. Boom! Sean Dyche is raging on the touchline. Wrexham are in front. 36 minutes and Ryan Reynolds, he's a happy bunny there. Look at that. Absolutely fantastic strike. Great goal, that. Absolutely fantastic goal. Smashes it in the bottom corner. The Australian Liberato Casas. That's an absolute worldie. Forest giving the ball away again. Who is that? Is it Hutchinson? Hutchinson gives it away. And he goes like that and puts his hand up to the ref for a foul. And Liberato Casas, he just picks it up and goes, oh, takes a deflection. He picks it up and goes, nah, I'm going for it. Smashes it, bottom corner. 3-star red says, pack your bags, Dyche. Another sacking tomorrow, says D. Rohale says, the reason I can't see United making top 4 is honestly because there's at least 4 better teams than them. Hey, at the minute, Brentford are better than United. Newcastle are above United. I think Chelsea will finish above United. I think Villa will finish. I honestly, I look at Liverpool will, Villa will, City will, and Arsenal will. Them 4 100% are finishing above United. After that, it could be Spurs, it could be Newcastle, it could be maybe Brighton. There's a few who absolutely could. But United, I just don't think they get any more than the Europa League this year. I think that even that would be a huge win for them. I am Crute says, how long are we giving it till we see Wrexham in the Prem? As it stands, mate, I think they're coming up next year. They're coming up. They'll be a Premier League team next year. We're already seeing it. Samo Bob, United is missing Europe again. Mark it down. And Graham says, United are going down in the league. Next games are Man City, Arsenal, then Fulham. They might not get a point from them 3 games. Is it Fulham away, Graham? Man City, Arsenal, and then Fulham. United might get 0 points out of 9 there. I think they probably will. Adam says, could you see Pep announcing his departure in April? City will have to plan that very, very cleanly. They'll have to make sure that they've got enough time and they've got the right setup in place and everything, and they've got the replacements in place, and have they got the players that they need, all that sort of stuff. Shay says, I think we'll get top half if we're lucky. United to get top half. Wrexham are in again, could be 2. It is 2. Oh my God, Rathbone's stuck it in the bottom corner and Wrexham are in front even further. They've doubled the lead. It's 2-0. Oh my goodness me, shock on the cards. It's maybe not that much of a shock. It's maybe not that much of a shock. Goodness me, Sean Dyche. Oliver Rathbone's wrapped it in the bottom corner. Oliver Rathbone has got Forest on toast. Anyone else get that? Rathbone's bread? Look at Ryan Reynolds, he's made up. Is he wearing makeup there? Rohale says City are not catching Arsenal, they just aren't clinical enough. Listen, give it time, you never know. FA Cup magic, says Sarah. And Shay says, 3-star Reds, what's going on, mate? Look at this. He's onside, there's nothing wrong with this. He dances inside the fullback there and the centre-back. Is it Cunha? I think it's Cunha and Savona. They just get all mixed up. Bit of luck, it does break his way. I'm looking at the goalkeeper again here. Oh, it's Morato. No, Morato gets his legs all in a tangle. I think the keeper's got to do better there. 2 goals in 3 minutes and Forest have dropped like a stone. It's Wrexham 2, Forest 0. Now there's a big comeback needed. Oh. Sarah says City always play better in the last third of the season. Yeah, that running is worse, City. They come into their own. Wrexham to win the FA Cup, says I am Crute, and Chaotic. Wrexham winning the FA Cup, go on. Bloody Wrexham. Lisha says, is this the same Wrexham you thought resting their big boys would have come back to bite them? No, I said Forest. I said both teams have rested their big players. It's surprising. I'm surprised that both teams have taken this approach. Because Wrexham have dropped loads of players. Forest have dropped loads of players. So I don't really know. I was asked to make a prediction before the game. So it could be anything, this. It could be 4-4. I couldn't tell you which side. Because honestly, we don't really know what to make of all the players that have been changed. It's all a bit chaotic. But still, they've played all right. I would argue that Forest should have had a goal, though. I think Douglas Luiz's goal should have stood. Definitely should have stood. So we've seen 2 goals and probably should have seen 1 more. La Pulga says Spurs have City, United, Newcastle and Arsenal in February. Well, they'll beat United. Blake says Wrexham are the face of Welsh football. What a world we are in. And Adam says Marinakis will be throwing plates at Dyche tomorrow. Those are nightmare fixtures for Spurs. But Roja, Arsenal are inconsistent as well. Adam says, I know you back City, but check out their next 5 fixtures. Go on, let's have a look at City's next 5 fixtures. Exeter City, that should be easy. They've got, in the league we just talking about, they've got Man United away. I think they'll win that. They've got Wolves at home. Spurs away. Liverpool away. Fulham at home. Newcastle at home. Leeds away. It's a tough run, but there's no easy. There really is no easy game in the Premier League. I firmly believe that. Every game presents a different challenge. I am Crute says, what must be whirling around Marinakis' head right now? I've got a firm idea. Would Mr. Amorim like a move to Forest? Ruben, it's Evangelos. Samoa says, have you watched Spurs this year? They are unwatchable. No one seems to know what they are doing. But is that not a manager? I feel massive, massive sympathy for Thomas Frank in the same way that I did for Arne Slot and still do for Arne Slot. In terms of, he's a new manager coming into a team. He's trying to put his own stamp on things. It's a team, in Spurs' case, that weren't doing very well last year. They finished, 17th last year? It's not a great Spurs side. Let's be dead honest. And Spurs aren't doing terribly bad. I mean, I know they throw it away against Bournemouth. Plenty of teams have done in the past. Not the end of the world. I think Spurs will still finish top half. I think they might even make a late play for Europe. But I like Thomas Frank and I think he deserves time. And I think managers, across the board, clubs should be a lot more sympathetic and patient with managers. Joe says, I can see Man U appointing Amorim back for some reason. I can't see that. Not with the way that he's left. It's left in a cloud of uncertainty and, he's had a pop at the board. I don't think he would go back there at all. Not for all of King Midas's silver. Adam says United always beat City when everybody thinks United will get battered. Well, it was 0-0 last year. It's one of the worst games we've ever done on this channel. 0-0 United and City at Old Trafford. Shocking game. Don't think there was a shot on target all game. Says Key, thoughts on our performance against Leeds? Up the mags. Barnes is unbelievable. Yeah, Scotland's finest, eh? Harvey Barnes. I do. I think he was a very good... I think it was a very good game. I only saw the highlights and the last 10 minutes. so I've not really watched the full game back, but the game seemed to suggest, and the comments I've heard from fans seem to suggest that they're in again, Wrexham. They're 1-on-1. It could be 3-0. It could be 3. Oh, big save from Sells. It's very nearly 3-0. Oh, my goodness me. He's got to put that away and the game's dead. The game is dead there. Red Rebellion says all these clubs who chop and change their managers are in the mud, which includes Spurs, Chelsea and United. And Scott Downer says Nuno gets sacked at West Ham and rehired at Forest. Dyche goes to West Ham for the relegation battle. It wouldn't surprise me, honestly. I think Ruben Amorim will be back in the Premier League before the end of the season. And I know he's still got his United payoff, but I think he's got something to prove. And it wouldn't surprise me at all if there was a job that came up that would just tickle his fancy. But Forest are wide open, and it's half-time here. Wrexham really should have made that 3-0. It should have been 3-0. Port Vale have scored against Fleetwood. Big goal for Vale. Half-time at the Racecourse Ground. Phil Parkinson will be delighted with that, won't he? Steve-O says, news just in, Marinakis has decided to become the manager of Forest. And Wanderers says, people are saying Dyche should be sacked. I really can't see Dyche... I don't think Dyche should be sacked. But I do think he is in most danger of being sacked. Just because Marinakis is an absolute head case. And he sacked 2 managers already before Christmas. And if he can sack 2 managers before Christmas, you can definitely sack a 3rd before Easter. So I think it might be on the cards. I Am Crute says Nuno sacked at West Ham. Amorim to West Ham and keeps him up. Dyche to Man United. Lisha, on that note, I wonder if club owners just have managers' phone numbers, or would it be through an agent? I imagine it would be through an agent. Yeah. Usually I'm guessing is the case is owners would be able to have, or they would have a string of agents that work for them, and they would say, can you get me Amorim's number? I want to have a chat to Amorim. What about Amorim? They're probably always having these types of conversations with him. So they know. Samoa Bob says at least Liverpool has an identity. Even under slot, Spurs aren't showing any indication of change. I feel like a lack of identity is kind of symptomatic of a team that's struggling and trying to forge a new identity. You're not going to have an identity if you're trying to create a new one, or you're trying to tear up the old one because the old one wasn't working. I think in time Thomas Frank will make Spurs a very, very good side. I Am Crute, can we have more Marinakis impersonations, Key? I'll just have to try and grow out my beard. Get a little beard going. Amorim will want a revenge tour. I agree. And Samoa says, got to imagine any manager will see Forest as a huge red flag and not want to go there. But yeah, you'll say that with Forest, and I would agree. But is that not also the case at Manchester United? The manager's just been instructed how to play, how to set up, what formation to use, maybe which players to play. And he's left as a result. I think any manager who's worth his salt is not going to touch United with a barge pole off the back of that. Blake says, how much are football club owners involved in transfers, or is it all agents? I think it varies from club to club. Certainly Marinakis has had a big hand in certain players coming to Forest because he's been able to, let's not say launder, but move players between selected clubs. Forest have signed quite a few players from John Textor's club in Brazil, haven't they? Botafogo. They've also signed a few from Lyon, I believe, or they've kind of bounced a few around that way. So it wouldn't be surprising at all if Marinakis has had a massive impact on transfers and transfer strategy. La Pulga says, can't see Liam past 2026-27. Chelsea did not even trust in the man who got them 2 trophies, and I just don't feel Liam Rosenior is the guy. Wanderers, Amorim, Liverpool's new manager. Yeah. I'm glad you're joking there. Mourinho to Forest. Mourinho's at Benfica. I don't think he leaves Benfica. He's quite happy. He's not swapping Benfica. Even though I think he would want to come back to the Premier League. West Ham's a possibility, but I don't think Mourinho would come back to the Prem. for anything other than a big project with an opportunity to take a team on, and I don't think Forest represents that with Marinakis. West Ham possibly could if they had big budget to spend in January. I think Mourinho may be tempted, but he's happy at Benfica. Jacob Arabia, how's it going? Good to see you, mate. And I am Crew. Would you rather see Xavi go in at somewhere like a Forest and prove himself? I think it's a poison chalice at Forest, and I think it's a poison chalice at West Ham, and to a degree, it's a poison chalice at Man United. I think Xavi would be better off going to somewhere like a Bournemouth. Iriola leaves this summer, or a Palace. Iriola leaves this summer, Xavi comes in. That would be a fantastic appointment. Xavi to Bournemouth or Xavi to Palace. Great appointment for Palace, great appointment for Bournemouth. Xavi comes in, big opportunity to prove himself. And then, and only then, he would probably start to attract your PSGs, maybe your Liverpools, maybe your Man Uniteds, maybe the others. I feel like he's not a... there you go. How to United, Xavi to Newcastle. That could work. How to United, Xavi to Newcastle. I think Newcastle fans would embrace Xavi massively. Right, here you go. So, halftime quiz. Halftime quiz. We are sticking with a Welsh theme today. So, while we are watching Wrexham against Nottingham Forest, I want you to tell me... We have done a similar theme before, but not quite this one. I want you to tell me the top 15 Welsh players in Premier League history by number of assists. We're going to go through the assists. Welsh players with the most assists in Premier League history. Fire away. Get them in the chat. Type away. Let me know what you're thinking. I am Crute says Bale. Gareth Bale is 6th in the list. Correct. Aaron Ramsey. Aaron Ramsey is 2nd in the list. Ryan Giggs is 1st. Yeah, surprisingly. I think everyone would have got that one. Ryan Giggs is correct. Joe Allen. Joe Allen isn't in the top 15. We're just watching Port Vale. Oh no, MK Dons scored their goal against Oxford. It's not Wayne Routledge. No, not Wayne. I don't think Wayne Routledge is Welsh, is he? Mark Hughes is correct. Sparky is 7th. Brennan Johnson, Aid Bird. Good to see you, Aid. It's Brennan Johnson is 9th. Not Ethan Ampadu. No. Paul Pogba. We've already had Ryan Giggs. So far we've got Giggs. We've got Aaron Ramsey. We've got Gareth Bale. We've got Mark Hughes. And we've got Brennan Johnson. Gary Speed. God bless him. 3rd in the list. Gary Speed is 3rd. So there you go. You've got the top 3. Giggs, Ramsey and Speed. Harry Wilson, says Blake. Yeah, Harry Wilson is 10th. Great shout. Any more for any more. Keep them coming. Get little Joe Allen in there. Definitely not Joe Allen. Joe Allen's not in the top 15. I would have thought he was. Cookie Dan says Ian Rush. Yeah, Ian Rush is 12th. 12th in the list. I'll tell you how many assists that gets you, by the way. 12th with Ian Rush is worth... 14 assists. 14 Premier League assists Ian Rush got. I think he only got him maybe back end of his career. He was a fabulous player before the Premier League, wasn't he really, Ian Rush? Ben Davis is correct, yeah, and Craig Bellamy. Ben Davis is 8th. Craig Bellamy is 4th. Dan James is 14th. Correct. Dan James is correct. Speed. Dan EFP says Hartson. Yep, Hartson is right. He's there. John Hartson is 13th. And Dan also says Robbie Savage. There you go, 15th. You're only missing 2. 2 left to get. Ben Davis we've already got. So you've currently got, just to give you the heads up, it's not James Collins. You've currently got 1, Giggs. 2, Aaron Ramsey. 3, Gary Speed. 4, Craig Bellamy. 5, you've not got. 6 is Gareth Bale. 7, Mark Hughes. 8, Ben Davis. 9, Brennan Johnson. 10, Harry Wilson. 11, you haven't got. 12 Ian Rush, 13th John Hartson, 14th Dan James, and 15th is Robbie Savage. So we're missing two more that you haven't yet got. It's not Robert Earnshaw, it's not James Collins. Prince Rupert, all right, Key, surprised at this result. Are Forest playing their B team? Both teams are, mate. That's the crazy thing. Wrexham playing their B team, Forest playing their B team. Wrexham should be 3-0 up. It's crazy. But then again, Forest should have had a goal. They've had a goal disallowed. And there's no VAR in the tournament at this point. So maybe a little bit unlucky. Dean Saunders is correct. Dean Saunders is number 11. You're now just missing number 5. It's not Joe Allen, no. It says, sorry, I missed you yesterday, Key. Had a fall at work. Slipped and broke my tibia and fibia. Jesus Christ, mate. A tibia and fibia. What did you fall off? A skyscraper? Bloody hell. I hope you're alright, mate. That's awful. Well, you're going to be laid up for a while now, aren't you? You're going to have to get some food piped in, keep your medicine, get your painkillers taken, and watch a bit of Premier League Dad with us. It's not Pembridge, it's not Joe Ledley, and it's not Ashley Williams. No. It is, there you go, Blake Griffin's got it. It's Simon Davis of Fulham. Simon Davis, he's 5th in the all-time Premier League assists for a Welshman. Simon Davis got 35. Playing for 3 different clubs as well. He was a right midfielder, Simon Davis, and he bounced around a little bit. He played for Fulham most famously. Played for Tottenham as well. And who else did he play for? Played for Fulham in the Europa League. I think he was part of the Fulham side that got to the Europa League final. He definitely played for Tottenham. Did he play for Everton as well? Was he briefly at Everton? He was at Everton. Joe says, Key, aren't you Welsh? Rill born and bred. Oh, Rill. The Rill Sun Centre. Goodness me. Rohale says, Aid, hope you get better soon. That sounds really painful. And then 3-star Red says, what about the entire Forest squad, Dyche and Edu, looking like they're all Welsh? Aid says, fell over a parcel and out the van. Out the van? Is the van on top of a cliff? Bloody hell, I tell you what, that's a bad fall, that, mate. So I shouldn't joke about the height of the fall, because that's a bad fall, especially if you've broken your tibia and your fibia. Oh, bloody hell. What a start to 2026. Sir, I loved Rill Sun Centre. I'm not knocking Rill Sun Centre. We had many a holiday in we went to Rill, we did go to Tenby, we went to Llandudno a couple of times. To be honest, my missus had never been to Llandudno, and I took her when she was pregnant with our little girl. We went for a walk along the promenade. It's not quite the same Llandudno that I remembered growing up, but it's still a lovely place. Not Skegness, Skeggy. Steve also says, British people send condolences through banter. Yeah, unlucky. To be honest, usually if someone falls, you usually go, it's like the old, when someone drops a plate in school, if you're in the dinner queue or whatever, they drop a plate and it smashes. Way! Same sort of thing if someone falls over and then you realise they're actually really hurt. And you feel awful. You feel about this big. I Am Crute says, can Key say the name of that insanely long Welsh town? Let me get it. I was going to say, let me get it up. No. It's Clanfur. Right. Right. How am I doing it? So, it is Llanfyr, Pŵl Gwyn Gilgoga Rwcfyn Drobwl Llantysilio Goch. I think it's that. Something like that. Blake says the Welsh is something else. I'm sorry, but I'm not having that as a town. Do you know what it means? Do you know what it actually means? It's something. So they just call it Goch, don't they? I think. A+ for effort. It's the 6th largest settlement in the county of Anglesey. What does it actually mean? There you go. It means the pool of white hazels. There you go. Hey, you don't get this on Sky. Joe says, you alright, Key, mate? Have you just rebooted or something? Yeah. Sounded like a typewriter getting chucked downstairs there, didn't I? Steve says, Aid, when we see a breaking leg at work, we don't mean literally, mate. Hoping for a speedy recovery, mate. Hey, I hope you got a claim in, Aid. There's a claim. That parcel shouldn't have been there. Get a claim in. Where there's blame, there's a claim. That parcel shouldn't have been there. You should have had a spotter. That van should never be that high. You weren't given the right working boots. It definitely wasn't your fault. Get a claim in. I am Crute says, I remember going out drinking the day the pubs reopened after COVID. My mate dropped a glass. The way was therapeutic. Oh, COVID. Oh, can you imagine if this channel was going during COVID? Good grief. Legal aid, lad. Sarah says, did you see that goal for Forest? What the fuck? Yeah, I thought that should have counted. Blake, you just don't get this legal advice on Sky. Do you remember them adverts on like... It's like Claim Line or something like that. I mean, other claim companies are available. I'm not promoting anyone. But do you remember them? They were really badly acted adverts. And they were always on in like the middle of the day. Like if you were off school or something and you'd watch Jeremy Kyle and then straight after Jeremy Kyle, it'd be like in between them. It'd be like, have you had a slip, trip or fall in work? Have you had an accident that wasn't your fault? Still suffering pain? And it was always some woman like, oh... like, really, really overacted slip. Prince Rupert, I low-key missed some things about COVID. I enjoyed having the entire bus to myself to and from work. Oh, what a weird time that was. What a weird time. Oh, I am Crute. You can call injury lawyers for you. Have you had an accident that wasn't your fault? I am Crute. I'd love to see you and Goldbridge have a chat. You'd both talk so much rubbish. We could talk a glass eye to sleep, me and Goldbridge, I imagine. It's the stream everyone wants. I need just to campaign for it. Wonder unless I surely remember them, Key. Yeah, that's it. COVID was just a weird time, though. It was a mad time. I always remember thinking, after a while, I was like, do you know what? Because we'd been for like a year, we did at the start when everyone was getting dead scared, and I think everyone was dead scared at the start, weren't they? Let's be honest. I remember my mum and dad coming round, and we didn't go outside because we were scared, and we didn't want to like get them sort of infected or whatever. So we literally like waved at them through the glass at the back door of our house and stuff like that. That was like right at the beginning when everyone was dead scared, and then after a while, I remember thinking, we've made some real progress here. It feels like we're starting to come out of all this. It's been a weird year, but it feels like we're coming out of it. And then I'd see someone driving along on their own in a car with a mask on. I'd be like, oh no, what are you doing? It's got to people's brains. Oh, Prince Rupert, I remember people hoarding toilet roll. Yeah, toilet roll. It was like a currency in COVID, wasn't it? I am Crute. We had that insane eat out to help out scheme. Do you know what? There was a pub near us. I'm not even kidding. There was basically like people with pitchforks outside this pub because they were fuming. This pub did eat out to help out, and it was that like, what was it, 25% off or 10% off or 15, whatever, some percentage off. And this pub put all the prices up by 15%. It was brilliant. Absolutely, they literally released a brand new menu. As soon as Eat Out to Help Out came out, they just whacked a new menu out. All the prices went up by 15%. It was wicked. That pub is class. Hey, they made the most out of it. Me and my mate walked to the school, and there was a 2,000 person school. Went out for my 21st during Eat Out to Help Out. Could only take 6 mates. 6 mates, and they've got to be from 3 different households, maximum. Getafe 0, Real Sociedad 1. Wrexham, long distance strike, and it's gone wide. Prince Rupert. Oh, we've done that one, sorry. Steve-O, I called injury lawyers for you as I had an accident at work. Met my ex, apparently no claim. For yourself, Dylan, haven't been to a pub yet. You're not missing anything now. Pubs aren't the same as what they once were, Dylan. I first went into a pub and it was just before the smoking ban ended. I literally, just as I started going drinking in pubs with my mates and stuff when I was like early teens. 13, no. When I was late teens. Nearly gave the game away there, didn't I? Yeah, when we went to the pubs, people were still smoking in them. I am Crute. I feel like when I have kids, I'll tell them about COVID and they won't believe half of what I tell them. Yeah, people just randomly went on Zoom and did quizzes with each other. Yeah, just families. Families started going on Zoom. And like, nobody went to her. Everybody, literally everybody, got their hair cut by like their mum or their wife. Everybody. There was no hairdressers open for ages. So loads of people got their hair cut at home and everyone was going on Skype and Zoom and whatever. With their hair like... Do you like me new do? Do you like me new do? It's brilliant, innit? That was a nightmare. And Burmo's coming back. Morocco are 2-0 up against Cameroon. And Joe says, apparently Jamal Lascelles is getting a testimonial for Newcastle. So he should. Yeah, so he should. The good old days when you could smoke in pubs. You could smoke in... It was always packed in pubs when you could smoke. And then everyone started going outside to smoke. And the conversation started flowing out there. And then people decided it was just far too expensive. So no one goes in pubs anymore. That's when they all started turning into restaurants and then shutting down. Pubs don't really exist anymore, do they? I Am Croup says, do you not remember the fans on the advertising boards at games? Yeah, I remember that at City. That City, they had them oh, crap. That was so bad. Liam says, think Leeds had Osama as a cutout at the game. Wanderless says, don't forget them long queues and only certain amounts of people in the shop. Yeah. Yeah. And them tests. Remember the tests? I mean, there's people still doing them now. There's people still doing them. I remember, who was it? Someone on my wife's side of the family. She said, oh yeah, we did a test and it looks like we've got COVID. I was like, fucking... COVID? What are you doing? 5 years ago? Still sticking cotton buds up the nose and all that stuff. Oh, swerve that. The Joe Wicks PE lessons. Why is Dyche talking into his hand? The entire country know how shite we are in this, says 3-star. Family? What's up with family? Family. So we say it properly. Say it properly like you, Joe. Not at all, eh? Family. Yeah, rat. But don't be giving me grief, you Geordie. You Mackham. I Am Crate says, telling my kids about how Matt Hancock told us all to stay at home while he was snogging his secretary. Telling your kids about Matt Hancock, who was in charge of health for the country, and he didn't know the appropriate space to stand away from someone. There's a woman, have you seen that interview? There's a woman who's like, let's say her face is my hand, and he's like this. Just like that. Dead close to her face. Weird guy. Weird guy. Matt Hancock, there was a meme someone put out and it was like Matt Hancock crying on TV about the daughter who he knows is buried under the patio or something like that. It was just so fake. It is just a weird guy. And yeah, we all fell for it. Handball, claim for handball, should be a penalty for Forest. Oh, I tell you what, they're unlucky there, Forest. I think that should have been a pen. Should have been a pen. The scoreboard's disappeared again, Dylan. I know what you're talking about. Samoa says, I left my previous job in June and they still did tests. It's crazy. To each their own, like. I mean, I'm not, I'm not belittling anyone that it does still do them, but I guess I've just never heard of anyone doing them. Maybe in a work setting I could understand, I suppose, if people, because they're like insurance and stuff like that, you have to. But like, I'm just talking about just a general, like, family doing it. Telling my kids, then went on I'm a Celeb to try and fix his public image. Be yourself, Dylan. Keir Starmer might be leaving, get in. And Joe, how tasty was that bite key? Must have been a big one. Matt Hancock's a Newcastle fan. That explains a lot. RCPV says, hi Key, always watching from Honduras. Yes, lots of love to San Pedro Sula. Yay, love it, RCPV. Davey says, I snapped my ankle during lockdown as I was getting chased and tripped over a manhole. A manhole? I had an awful joke then. Mr. Edwards says, no way are Wrexham winning 2-0. Deadpool is going to be over the moon. They should, if I'm honest, I think they should be 3-0 up. They battered him in the first half. How's your family, Key? Are they all right? They're all right, Cocker. Forrester Shocking says, mind your own. And I am Crute says, I did one about 18 months ago, but that was only because I was really ill and I wanted to know what was up. Yeah, like I said, to each their own, mate. I'm not knocking anyone that still does them. I was surprised more than anything. I was like, why are we still doing them? I thought they were ages ago. I thought that long since gone. Blake says, Mr. Ryan Reynolds needs to invest more of that Hollywood money. Crack the manhole joke. I can't crack the manhole joke. The wife might be watching. Key, did you ever make banana bread? Banana bread? No, I think I've tasted banana bread. I think I might have had banana bread. But I've never made it. My little girl found out before that apples have pips in them. Because, yeah, she was cutting them up. Or rather, my mum was cutting them up for her. And she wants to now plant an apple tree. So she can pull apples from the tree and make an apple pie. So that's a whole thing we have to do now. Davey Moy says, bye-bye, Dyche. Prince Rupert says, is it only on TNT Sports? There's no clock on the screen. What are you watching it on, Key? No, TNT Sports don't have the clock on the screen. But you don't need a clock. It's right there. It's right there on the screen. You've got it right in this corner, right? There you go. You don't need a clock. Forest chance. Oh, what a save from Okonkwo. That's a fabulous save from the former Arsenal youth goalkeeper, Okonkwo. Bang, good save. And it's Douglas Luiz who had the free kick. Actually, it's quite an easy one. Bit of a Hollywood save, actually, that. Should have done better. Forrester going down with the dingles, says mind your own. And I Am Crute says, what was more unbelievable, lockdown or Liz Truss ruining the country in 6 weeks? Yeah, that budget was bad, wasn't it? Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss. Bloody hell. Let's not get into politics, mate. We might find some common ground. We might massively fall out. We lost the Queen in her tenure as well. Chris Whitty. Handsome Chris Whitty. Bloody hell. It was the other fella, Patrick Vallance. He was the one. Kept giving bloody inconsistent advice. Prince Rupert says, well, you're usually ahead of me by at least 30 seconds, but that is shocking that they don't do clocks during football matches. No, they do. It's disappeared. They're having an issue at the minute. They do clocks during football matches. The score isn't even on TNT. I think it's a glitch they're trying to work on. Sarah says, Mr. Edwards, Deadpool is at the match. He is, yeah. Forrest in at the right-hand side. Strike, good save, should be in. Oh, corner. No, goal kick. I tell you what, this ref. Everyone say Johnson or Sunak. Johnson, stay at home, but don't stay at home. Yeah. Stay at home, but don't stay at home. That was definitely a corner. You can only catch it off someone with symptoms, but you can also catch it off someone without symptoms. That was the classic. You can only catch this from someone with symptoms. But actually, there might be times where you'll catch it from someone without symptoms. Prompted new waves of panic. Craziness. I'm Crute says you must stay at home. If your friends ask you to meet, you should say no. Yeah, go out but don't go out. Go to work but don't go to work. Yeah. 30 minutes of exercise per day. There will be police stops and we will be asking you where you're going and is it important. Wrexham, in, must be. What are you doing? Chance! Oh, good save, unlucky. Good save from Matt Sells. Prince of Rupert, I said I'm sure Ryan Reynolds has a house in Wales. He does. I've not seen pictures of it. I've seen what's the other fella's name? Rob McElhaney. Rob McElhaney's got one, and I've seen pictures of his house. So I don't know, I assume if Rob McElhaney's got one, then I imagine Ryan Reynolds has one too. Prince Rupert says the worst part was probably the online vaccine debates. Don't miss those for sure. Yeah. I mean, everyone thought they were a specialist, to be fair. But in fairness, the specialists didn't know an awful lot either, it seemed like. There wasn't really an awful lot of consistent advice. Blake says Wrexham need to kill this game off. Clapping for the NHS, yeah. Get your pots and your pans out at 8 o'clock. RCPV says, Key, for you, who is winning on Sunday, Barcelona or Madrid? I think Barca. We're gonna be watching it. Yeah, we're live on Sunday for that one, mate. So I'll be live straight after the FA Cup finishes. We'll be on for Barcelona Real Madrid. I think it's a 7 o'clock kickoff. I think Barcelona win that one. Samo Bob says, didn't Ryan Reynolds and Rob try and buy one of the Sheffield clubs before Wrexham? Or am I mixing up two stories? I don't know. I think you might be mixing up. Yeah. Basically, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhaney raised £37,500 for the Sheffield Wednesday Supporters Trust after 1,500 gold kits were sold to show solidarity with the Owls. Which is quite nice. That's quite a nice thing. You wouldn't get that happening in many other clubs. But yeah, because Sheffield Wednesday were really struggling and Ryan Reynolds was trying to do a nice thing, they made a load of kits, sold them, and gave all the money to Sheffield Wednesday's Supporters Trust. That's a nice thing, innit, to be fair. He's mixing up Tom Brady and Birmingham City. Joel says, Key, do you watch any of Robbie Knox's stuff? Sound guy, 7 pints in 7 countries. Yes, I have seen a fair bit of Robbie Knox's stuff and the chats that he had with, what's his name? Tubes. But yeah, I have. I've seen some bit. I like to listen to the occasional podcast like that. It's good fun. Mr. Clapping for the NHS was prime Britain. It was, wasn't it? Ree says, which subculture did you belong to when you were younger? A townie, a mosher, a goth, a geeky, or just followed your own lead? I was a townie. One of the very few in top set in school. What's a townie? A mosher. I certainly wasn't a mosher, and I wasn't a goth, and I wasn't geeky. I was in top set for everything, though. But that was maybe the culture that we were in school. Generally, if you were anything below set 2, you got the piss taken out of you by a lot of people. Not me, obviously. I was uber nice to everyone, but yeah, there was. I don't really. Yeah, what's a townie? You'll have to educate me on that one. I don't know what a townie is. He strikes me as a goth. No, definitely not a goth. Definitely not a goth. No. I've got the pale skin maybe for a goth. Could maybe pull off a goth. Vamp. Get some tomato juice. Jimmy P says a lot of the bottom set people are now live on TikTok. Nice to see him again. Yeah. To be honest, bottom... Oh, chance off the line. Is it going to be a goal? It is. It's a goal, Forest. They've pinched one back. Far post, headed off Igor Jesus. It bounced over the line. And Forest are back in it. It's 2-1. Okonkwo couldn't keep it out. Chav Scally. Possibly. Don't know if I was a chav. That was a great header. It was a great header. It stood up to the far post. Igor Jesus rises well at the back stick. Bang! Heads it down. And Okonkwo couldn't keep it out. Yeah, over the line. Good goal. Blake says, does it go to a replay if it ends 1-1? No. No, it goes to extra time and penalties. Jimmy says, I know a guy called Prime Premier League. Have you seen his channel? Oh, mate, yeah, he's a numpty. He's a numpty. Yeah, he's hard working. Do you know what it is? Do you know what it is with him? He can't have a discussion with football without saying, well, I mean, if you want, I will educate you. But if you're so stupid to have such a stupid opinion, then I'll educate you. Like, everything's dead aggressive and dead, like, patronising and talks down. I'm surprised he gets people wanting to talk. Like, I went, honestly, I swear to God, if you had the video or the one chat I had with him, I went on, because I said something in the comments, and he said, oh, yeah, you're meant to be a content creator. You're supposed to know what you're talking about. But you know, it's all right. You just go. You don't need to come on. Oh no, he said, why don't you come on and have a chat? And I said, oh well, I'm out and about at the minute, mate. I'm out and about. I can't have a chat. And he was like, oh yeah, I thought that would be the case. I thought you wouldn't. Like, and that's a red rag to a bull with me. I was like, right, love, I've got to go. I've got to speak to this knobhead. So I went and sat in the car for 2 minutes, and I said to him, right, just calm down a minute. Why are you getting so aggy? Why are you getting so personal and aggy? Just calm down. And we had a very, what I thought to be a civil conversation. We kind of lowered the tone a little bit because he was very aggressive from the off. And we lowered the tone. And I went back in for the first time. I was scrolling through and it came back up maybe 10 days later. And he'd said something about Palace being well placed to qualify for the Champions League, and I was like, I think I put a comment in saying you've been beaten by AK Larnaca in Europe, and Strasbourg, and you've been beaten or drawn with Coups Kuopio, the Finnish minnows. He looked at the comments and went, oh. Yeah, again, last time you came on, I made an absolute mag of you. I made an absolute fool of you. And I was like, oh, this guy, he's just, I don't know what the crack is. I just don't know what the crack is. Why is he so aggy? And it's not even, I don't even think it's like an act to wind people up. Because that would be one thing, wouldn't it? Like, I'll rage bait you. I'll get you to get aggy and ring. I just think he's like that. He just comes across like a really aggy guy. He's just a contrarian. He's like the Palace fan. He's a weapon. And I am Crute. I mean, the worst person on football TikTok is Owen LFC. I honestly, I still to this day, I have never seen the guy. I just know that he spat at his camera and he did something with. Didn't he pretend to raise money for Jota or something? That's not. I couldn't pick him out of a lineup. I don't know anything about it. 3-star Reds, is that Savaki you're talking about? I don't know who Savat is. No, I don't think it is him. That's him, Bryn. Yeah, that's the fella. That's the fella. Brennan says that there are no replays at all in the FA Cup more. Thank God if that is the case. There's no replays, I think, beyond or before round 6. I think round 6 they might do replays. Wrexham Oh, claim for the penalty. Forest strike. Miles wide. Jimmy says, doesn't let you get a word in edgeways and always goes for personal attacks. Yeah, he very much did. There's no talking to him. There's absolutely no talking to him. So he's a Victorian then. Did you not get that with the accent? I was really going. I thought I did all right then. Wanderer says, to be honest, Key, I think you're the only genuine YouTuber out there. I see too many people out there who are fake. They say they don't care about a certain game, but in that game they show they care. I wouldn't, I certainly wouldn't say I'm the only genuine YouTuber out there. Not at all. There's lots of nice people. There really is. Lots of nice people. But yeah, maybe you've just had bad luck so far. But there's some great channels, some fantastic channels that do some really good work. Cecil says Scouser Cockney accent. It was a bad one, and I'm not a Scouser, but that was my best effort. Hey, I got an A-star in drama. Don't take that. That actually hurts. I think of all the comments, all the trolling, having a pop at me Cockney accent wasn't great. That'll upset me. I'll have to work on that in the mirror for next time. Next time I do an impression of him. Joe says, Key, you need to check Football Chat Uncensored, old school Arsenal fan, proper sound guy. There's a few. Honestly, there are some really, really cool content creators who I've met on the way doing this, and they're all really, really cool. And there's obviously some bellends as well. Like, that's just life, innit? Let's be honest. There's some numpties and there's some sound people. There's some people who think they're better than you as well because they've got like X thousand more followers. Or it's amazing the arrogance you see from a lot of people. I wish I could tell you some of the stuff. I wish, but I'm not that guy. I wish I could tell you people who you will know about some of the stuff that I have encountered just in the last 12 months running this channel. You wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. I am Crooks says I blocked Owen, can't listen to him anymore. Blake says Prime Premier League said Glasner could do what Slot's doing at Liverpool. And that's a fair enough opinion. I just don't believe you have to be a prick to articulate it. Like, just have a reasonable conversation with people. Reece says, where do I find the Angry Palace fan? Listen, I'm not promoting anyone on my channel, mate. I'm not doing that. If anyone wants to find him, I'm sure if you head over to TikTok, you'll probably stumble upon him at some point. Jimmy says, you should check out Anfield 90. I think I've spoken. I go on Anfield 90's talk show a few times. Yeah, they're good lads. They're good lads. Wanderer says there is, of course, but I mean, I've never heard you contradict yourself. Ooh. Well, look, I don't know. I wish I could say I've never contradicted myself. I have, probably at times, but I've not intentionally anyway. I mean, no one ever intentionally does, do they? But I don't think I could say I've never contradicted myself. I try to be consistent, like I said, the little things, like if I'm not giving Vert stick because he's a young player new to the Premier League, then I shouldn't give Sesko stick. I shouldn't give Voltemar a stick. I shouldn't give players new and young to the Premier League. So I've always maintained that. I don't believe you'll find me having Doug Sesko out at any point. Brendan says, excuse me, sport. I can't help but notice I have considerably more subscribers than you. It is. There is a massive, massive element of that, and it's so grim. It's so grim. I can't tell you how bad. Oh, I wish maybe I'd just get semi-famous, like mild famous, so that I can release a book at some point and be like, this is the first 12 months encountering some of the biggest knobheads in this space. And you'll know a lot of them. You'll know a lot of them. Brendan says, sorry, we've done that one. Reece says, TikTok, not YouTube, only got an iPhone at Christmas, should make a TikTok and Insta to stay down with the kids. Mate, that's me. I'm terrible on TikTok and Insta. Do okay on YouTube, but terrible on TikTok and Insta. I am Crew. Do you think we'll see Key on the Saturday social thing on Sky Sports anytime soon? No, and I'll tell you why. Because Gary Neville has just sold his media company, the Overlap or whatever, to Global. Now you might say, well, what's that got to do with anything, Key? Because he made an app called Finalysis, you might have seen, right? Now, the Finalysis app was created by Sky Sports, and it basically said to fans, and not even to fans, it was to lower level content creators like me, right? And it said, I got invited to it at like the start of August. Come on, give your opinion on the app every day, right? Get your opinion on the app every day. And you have to do a pre-match prediction, you know, write your comments in, rate all the players, post-match prediction, post-match thoughts, all that sort of stuff, and then, like, post updates throughout the week. They want you using this thing every single day, right? If you use that app every single day, you'll be on Sky Sports. You will be invited on Sky Sports to talk with Jamie O'Hara. All of the people who are the most responsive on that app are on Sky Sports. It's there! It's 3-1! Oh my God, is he onside? He is! It's a ball in from the free kick, and it's 3-1. It's 3-1. It's 3-1. Who is it who pinches it? It's a great header, and that's it for Forest. That's game over. That is game over. Ryan Reynolds is bouncing, and I think it's the captain who's got it. Matt Sells is not happy with his defence, it must be said. Prince Rupert says, days without getting banned from TikTok. I thought I was panicking then. I am on TikTok, aren't I? He was onside there. I think he was onside. It's a great ball in. And a header at the back stick. It's a lovely goal, that. It's a lovely, lovely goal. Tony says, will he be getting sacked? I don't think you can rule anything out with Marinakis, can you, mate? He sacked 2 managers before Christmas, so a third before Easter really wouldn't be the end of the world. Oh my God, Preston 0, Wigan 1. Oh my God, 75th minute. And it's Preston 0, Wigan 1 in the North Lancashire derby. Oh, Preston Wigan. What's going on there? Goodness me. Hyam with the goal there, by the way. It's 3-1 to Wrexham. Forest have got an uphill battle now in the last 15. We've still got time to turn it around. But Preston 0, Wigan 1, the miracle of the FA Cup. Blake, finish the Neville app story, Chief. Sorry. Chance! Oh my God, it's 3-2! Callum Hudson-Odoi, they're straight down the other end and it's 3-2! Oh my God, it's 3-2! This game's gone unbelievable. Look at Dyche. Dyche saying, come on! Come on, it's 3-2. Hudson-Odoi, 15 minutes to go. Goodness me, they don't want me telling the Neville app story, do they? We don't want me telling it. Oh my God. It's not over. Ball pulled back and Callum Hudson-Odoi basically stood on the penalty spot. It's Hutchinson, I think, who puts the ball in. And Hudson-Odoi, right-footed, right into the bottom corner. Really good goal. And there you go. There's a tribute to Terry Yorath. Yeah, passed away, sadly. Terry Yorath, what a player he was, by the way. And what an absolute tit. What an absolute tit Richard Keys is, by the way, for what he said. Tony Peters says, exciting game by the sound of things, Key. It is, yeah. It's been a good, really, really good game, actually. Blake says, since when are Wigan North Lancashire? Surely Greater Manchester. It was referred to in the build-up as the North Lancashire derby. I would probably agree with you. It's certainly more Greater Manchester. Are we really surprised at Richard Keys, though? No, we're not. What did he say, Liam? But I'd go and check it out. Go and have a look at his account, on his Twitter account, so I'm not, like, misquoting him. But he basically said words to the effect of, like, really sad to hear about Terry Yorath passing away. Because he was such a good player, I got his daughter her first job at Sky, and I didn't even know who she was. So, like, just basically made it about him, and it was so, like, it was so low, and so it was a bit like Look at Me at a time. You just didn't need to do it. And like Dan Walker from BBC commented and replied to it and said, Richard, I really hope this is just a really poorly worded tweet. There's still time for you to change this. Like, imagine you're Gabby and you read this, or you know, you read this and you're one of his loved ones or one of the family or something, and you just don't need to see that stuff. This is not a time to have a pop at Gabby Logan or say that I am responsible for your career or any of that stuff. It was just so low. And Laura Woods replied and said something like, what an absolute twat, or something like that. Not surprised, what an absolute twat, I think she said. Wrexham, chance! Oh, good save from Sells. Liam says Gabby Logan's dad in it. Yeah, Gabby Logan's dad. Very good footballer back in the day, and yeah, sadly passed away after a short illness, but Richard Keys felt that was an appropriate time to tell the world that he got Gabby Logan her first job at Sky, and I didn't even know who she was, and all this, like, just a weird guy. Just a weird guy. I Am Crute says, I love football, but I would actively avoid watching it if someone told me I'd be speaking to Jamie O'Hara. But let me just get back to the point very quickly. I'll finish the anecdote because it's not really a great one anyway. But the point being, basically the Finalysis app is, because Gary Neville was selling his business, or selling shares in his business, if you make an app, the value of that app is based almost 100% on how many users you have on it and how engaged those users are. Like, how often are they using it? How engaged, how bought in are they to the app? So Gary Neville has made it so that he gets all these people massively engaged for 3, 4, 5 months before he sells part of his business. And I probably got him a few extra quid, a few extra, bits of cash in there as a result. But as a result, what it means is you don't actually get maybe the best representation on Sky for whatever club it is, whether it's Liverpool or Arsenal or Chelsea or Spurs or United, whoever it is. You get the people who are the most engrossed in the app, and it's a shit app. It's a crap app. It really is. It's an absolutely garbage app. It's so slow, and if you dedicate all your time to that Finalysis app, you'll get on Sky. You'll get on there, I promise you. But you'll be talking to Jamie O'Hara, and maybe that's another thing. Is Sky are like, well, we need someone who's at Jamie O'Hara's level, so let's not put him in a room with someone like the fella off the Anfield rap, Neil, who absolutely knows his stuff. Cecil says bro needs to learn to read the room. It's crazy, isn't it? Honestly, madness what Richard Keys said. Jim Bob says, who is your favourite and worst pundit on TV, Key? Favourites? There's quite a lot of it. There's a lot of good pundits. To be honest, there's a lot of bad ones. I don't think I've got a favourite and a worst one. I like Roy Keane. I do like Roy Keane. I feel like Roy Keane does offer a lot of value and a lot of insight. I hate Rio Ferdinand. I really do. Not hate him as a person, I don't know him, but I just find him so irritating to watch at times. Same with Michael Owen, to be honest. But Michael Owen's actually gone up a little bit in my estimation. Even some of his comments and insights recently. Once you get past him lobbing apple cores at a bin, he's actually all right. Patrick says, would they really fire the manager with a loss to Wrexham? It's just a cup game. It's Marinakis though, isn't it, mate? It's Marinakis. Tony says it's not just a cup, they're poor in the league. That's also very true. And Blake says Neville ain't slick, he sold off other people's inputs. And I Am Crute says, I highly doubt football is going to be shedding tears when we lose Richard Keys like we have for Yoreth. And who is Richard Keys though, says Liam. Pete Keysy, that, says Blake. Thoughts on Joey Barton? Oh, he's another one who can get in the bin. To be honest, Joey Barton's just... I think, listen, at the end of the day, he's an ex-footballer, so his opinion's going to carry a lot more weight than a lot of others. But I would say that, yeah, he doesn't come across the best at times. And that would be being polite. I'm Crute. Have you seen the video of Rio talking to Trent, and you can see Trent does his best to ignore him? Yeah. Oh, what's Forest doing here? It's going to be 4-2, this, is it? Hit it. Oh, ran down a dark alley there. Twisted Fate says, Key, Morocco won 2-0. They've just put Maz on the left, so Hakimi could also start. And Mazraoui absolutely pocketed the left side. I'll tell you what, Forest are getting an A++ today for giving the ball away. They're absolutely shocking today, Forest. Patrick says, I get that for sure, but Wrexham lost to Cardiff and no one cared. No, I know, but that's Wrexham. Wrexham are also on a 4-game winning run. Not only are they on a 4-game winning run, they're a point off the playoffs, mate. They're 6 points off the automatic spots. And now they look like they're knocking out the Premier League side of the FA Cup. So, Wrexham are in great standing. Phil Parkinson's going nowhere, but Dyche, I think maybe there's a fair case to argue that Forest fans expected a bit better when he came in. And also, yes, they beat West Ham the other day by the skin of their teeth. If they hadn't got a late penalty, then they'd only be 5 points clear of the relegation zone. They'd have lost 5 in their last 6 or whatever it was. So, and this is another big defeat for them. I am Crute says the most annoying thing with Rio is how he speaks like a 14-year-old. He's 45. Yeah. Chance far post for Wrexham. Easy that. Easy for the keeper. Creed Van Crow says, just woke up. For God's sake, North End, mate. I know. What's going on? Wigan of all teams. Jimbo, I went halves with Michael Owen on a fruit machine in the bookies when he was at Liverpool. We did horse. Oh, nice. I was going to say I'd love to talk more about that, mate, but I can't use the B word. Otherwise, I get a suspension on the other place. Ben says Barton wasn't a footballer. He was a thug like Vinnie Jones and Ben Thatcher. Ben Thatcher on Pedro Mendes. Patrick O'Shaughnessy, would it be better if Forest lose this game so they can focus on the league? Wrexham too, for that matter. A question for you guys. Well, let's open that up to the chat. Would it be better for Forest to lose? I mean, I asked that question, Patrick. It's a good question. I asked that question earlier in a similar. You asked it much better, but I asked a similar question earlier in the night to 3-Star, who is one of our fantastic Forest fans who watches us regularly. And he said no. He said he wants Forest to go through tonight because winning builds momentum. It breeds momentum, and he thinks that would help Forest in the league. You can't, you're always going to get better if you keep winning games. They won against West Ham. If they got the win tonight, they can carry that maybe through into the next league game and into Europe, which they've got coming up soon as well. But if you lose tonight and you go out to Wrexham, then all of a sudden, that win against West Ham, it's a bit flat again, isn't it? It's a bit flat. Twisted Fate says, Dyche is usually a great manager for stabling the ship and keeping teams up. Maybe it's deeper than the manager at Forest. And your Lord Yorkshire, I prefer to watch rather than the United stand. You're honest and give a balanced opinion. Hey, thanks very much, mate. Listen, it's not me. It's as much the chat as anything else. If anything, they drive the opinions, and it's a great little back and forth. I love it. And very soon, by the way, you will be able to, because I am very close to actually sorting the technology out. You'll be able to dial in and have chats mid-game. We'll be able to get more of you involved. Whether you're a content creator or not, I want to hear from you. So it's going to be a little bit more, I would say a little bit more Talk Sport, but I don't want to compare us to Talk Sport. We're not going to be Talk Sport. You'll be able to, if you've got an opinion, be able to send a voice note in, or you may even be able to dial in. I'm hoping both. Brendan says McCoist may not be the most insightful. Ali McCoist is great, isn't he? Ali McCoist definitely is. Actually, let me take it back. Ali McCoist is the best pundit. He's the one I most enjoy. I love listening to him. And he makes it fun. Is that AC/DC, man? That's Hills Bills from AC/DC. Reece says Joey Barton, extreme, bright and intelligent, but can argue and go into the nth degree to prove himself right all the time. Does it result in inner peace? No. Better to be happy than right. I live life by that, mate. Better to be happy than right. Choose your arguments wisely. Patrick says Forest can't afford an injury or tired players. So momentum, that makes sense. Thank you. Well, yeah. Forest can afford, I think, to make some rotations, but I think they can't afford to take a step forward with the win against West Ham, and then this. It's a bit of a morale sapping loss, this, isn't it? You go to the Racecourse Ground, you lose. It's bad, that. It's bad. Reece says Dyche doesn't get the credit in the bank to make it acceptable for the fans, especially with a probable lost to Arsenal to follow next game. And MT says, bad day for me as a Bruges fan. We lost one of our best talents. The deal is good for the guy with a contract till 2027. Also about to lose our second top-class one soon, Bisiwu. Are we talking about K. Furo here? I heard earlier on tonight that Furo's about to go to Brentford. That's a very good signing, I think. Wrexham making a change here. Sheaf is coming off. Ben Sheaf's coming off. And it looks like... Who is it who's coming on? Is it McLean? Yeah, James McLean. I am Crute says, Joey Barton, extremely bright and intelligent. Have I just heard that right? Not from me, you didn't. That came from Reese. But I will say Reese is definitely all of those things. Reese is extremely bright and intelligent. And if he says Joey Barton is, then I'll afford him that opinion. Even if we don't agree, mate, do we? Even if me and you might not agree, I'll absolutely afford Reese that opinion. Zutty says, get a Patreon set up. Oh, God, no. To be honest... Zutty, we've got a Discord server, which I'm gonna be I've said it for like 2 days now, and everyone's like, "Key, where is it?" I absolutely promise you, I have been working on it. It's gonna be great. I think it's gonna be a really cool place for us all to chat away from these lives. You don't have to be a member. We will have a members only place within there, but that's only if you want to be a member. You don't have to. But there is a space within there for exactly that, what you've just asked for. Oh my God, Forest is 3-3. It's Hudson-Odoi, and he's gone and got the ball, and they're straight back up the other end of the pitch. This one's going to be an absolute all-time classic. It's 3-3. This one's going to extra time. It's an absolutely fantastic, great... Oh, that's a goal, that. That's a fabulous goal. Ball gets played in, great chest, volleyed in. What a finish that is from Hudson-Odoi. That's 2 goals off the bench from Hudson-Odoi. He's come off the bench and saved them here. I always thought there was a player in him. Ah, it's a great goal. It's so disappointing with Hudson-Odoi because I just feel like there's better than... He never quite does it often enough. He's never quite consistent enough. But what a chest down that is. And a great finish. Ah, some goal. 3-3. We're back to 3-3 in the 90th minute. And now are we going to get a winner before extra time? Blake, I choose the arguments with my Mrs. Wisely if I want dinner. Chance! Wrexham very nearly 4-3. Oh my God, this is gonna be a great end to this game. 5 added minutes at the end of this one. Ethan says they got to the semi-final last season, now lost in the first round. And Swifty says we need people like Barton to speak their mind and make life interesting, even if we disagree. Well, yeah, I'll. What's the old expression? I disagree with what you say, but I'll fight for your right to the death to have that opinion on. It's not quite that, but you know what I mean. I would agree with that. I'm absolutely on board with that. I don't agree with Barton at all on the vast majority of things, maybe everything. But he should still be able to say what he's got to say. Brendan says, yeah, McCoy makes it fun and entertaining, which is what football and all sports should be to watch. Some of the other pundits look like that. They're at a funeral. Neville and Hargreaves spring to mind. And Zutty says, put the Discord link up when you set it up, Key. I will, mate, yes. I will have that in the bio, the YouTube bio for tomorrow's game. And I'll also have it in... Actually, tomorrow's game is 12 o'clock, so I won't have it on for tomorrow's game. But I will have it on for the Super Cup. The Spanish Super Cup on Sunday night. Real Madrid against Barcelona. I absolutely promise you. Promise you. Mark Diaz says, what did I say? I told you draw when they were down 2-0. You did, Mark. You called it, mate. Frankfurt 3, Dortmund 2. Frankfurt have turned it round. What a game in the Bundesliga. 90 plus 2, and it's Mahmoud Dahoud, who used to play for Dortmund and was once upon a time linked with Liverpool. Mahmoud Dahoud. The great name as well. Ethan, I will definitely be joining the Discord. Cheers, Ethan. Thank you very much. We'll need a lot of good people in there. Noah says, big up to Key Thomas, the legend. Tobes, what a game. It's been brilliant, hasn't it? I am Crute. I remember when Bayern offered Chelsea 60 million for him. And JFT 97 Adam says, wow, take a bow, Hudson. That's great, that. Really, really good. It was coming over his shoulder as well. There was shades of Luis Suarez against Newcastle there. And now Wrexham driving forward, having a strike. Oh, just wide. Yeah, it was coming over his shoulder. I don't know how he kind of controlled it down like that. And then a side foot into the bottom corner. Fabulous goal. Joe says, Key mate, I've just been offered Tottenham away tickets. Can't wait. Tottenham away. Flames, good to see you, mate. How you doing? Flames, speaking of Tottenham, Flames is in the chat. Big Tottenham fan. Hates Thomas Frank, but I like him a lot. Joe, for my birthday. Nice. Well, when is it? When's the game? We've got 2 minutes left, and then we're going to be going to extra time in this one. Extra time and possibly penalties. Blake says, Mr. Hudson, what a shame you can't do it consistently. Yeah, there's a real player in there with Hudson-Odoi. How old is he now? How old is he? Is he still... I feel like Callum Hudson-Odoi has been at this level for like 5 years. He must be like 27 now, Hudson-Odoi. 25. Yeah, he's been around a bit, but there's still... I feel like there's enough of a player in there that you could maybe see him in maybe a year or two getting like... A bit like Eze, I guess. A bit like Eze has. Like, he could kick on to such an extent that actually there's a top team that comes in for him. Maybe a Spurs, maybe a Newcastle, or even like a United, someone just outside the top six. Someone like that. Be yourself. Dylan says 30 minutes. You staying here. Hope we can keep talking before we all get tired. I will be staying on. Yes, absolutely. There's no way I'm quitting before the end of the game. I'll be staying. Got to see this one through. Got to see it through. If you're new around here, please do hit like, hit subscribe. I am live every single day. We've got 2 more games tomorrow. First up, we've got Everton against Sunderland, which is a 12 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. And then we have, at 5:30, Tottenham against Aston Villa. 2 very big games in the FA Cup tomorrow. So hopefully you'll join me for... maybe one, maybe both of them. If not, then I might see you on Sunday. Derby County against Leeds, which is a 12 o'clock. And the late game we're doing is the Spanish Cup final, which is Barcelona-Real Madrid. It's in Jeddah in Saudi Arabia. Wrexham chance! Oh my God! Nearly with the last kick of the game. Morato very nearly putting it in his own net. And it is full time. It is full time. It's 3-3. What an unbelievable game this is. And Frankfurt 3, Dortmund 3. Speaking of 6-goal thrillers, we've had one here, we've got one in Germany. Dortmund have just equalised with the last kick of the game in the Bundesliga as well. Goodness me, what a night. What a night. Reece says, isn't it amazing how the games you look forward to so often are damp squibs, and then the ones like you just watch out of habit are the classics you remember most? It's true. Yeah, it's mad. Well, I mean, to be honest, a lot of the best games we've done, like even Liverpool-Arsenal yesterday. Liverpool-Arsenal 0-0, prime example. This one. There was someone in the chat earlier who said, Key, I cannot believe that you're watching Wrexham against Nottingham Forest over Morocco and Cameroon. Now, with the greatest of respect to Morocco and Cameroon, that one's finished 2-0. I'm sure it was a good game. But it's not as good as this one. It's not been as good as this one. Wigan have missed a penalty as well. I Am Cruz says, should players like Hudson-Odoi, Welbeck be outside shouts for the World Cup squad? I don't think so. No. I don't think so. Swifty says he's lost the electric pace he had. And Joe, it's midweek, so I'll be missing 2 days. Twisted Fate, at least Mbermo is home for City. It gives us extra oomph. And Noah says, looks like Ryan Reynolds' team is going to beat the Robin Hood team. Prince Rupert says, I much prefer this channel when it's like this and doesn't devolve into just Key versus the Gooners. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think the problem we've had at the minute, and that it's as much my fault, to be honest, Prince Rupert, is I should have put it on subscriber only or slow mode in the chat. Basically, so that if anyone comes in and they want to just troll and put hate, then, yeah, it's much nicer when we can actually have a conversation in it. I agree. But listen, the Arsenal fans are useful to some degree because it's helped us a little bit push the channel out, and maybe it helps us grow a little bit further. But yeah, I agree, it has been somewhat frustrating at times. Blake says this is the FA Cup, the oldest cup competition in history. Good on you for selecting this one. Well, I really want some variety. It's not like I've got... I wish I could say it's because of that, like I've got some pride in the FA Cup or anything. It's not that. I want the channel... My kind of mission for this channel is to be... For it to be a mixed bag. I want it to always be a mixed bag. I know it's called Premier League Dad, and maybe that evolves in time, but I do. I want it to be a mixed bag. I want to watch anything and everything, and I want this to be the channel where you can go to United stand and watch United. You can go and watch Arsenal on AFTV. You can go and watch, the Red Men and see Liverpool, and you can do that's all fine. But if you want to watch Wrexham against Nottingham Forest on a Friday night, it's key. If you want to watch Equatorial Guinea against Burkina Faso, it's key. If you want to watch the Icelandic League on a random Wednesday in July and talk about COVID, it's key. That's what I want. That's the plan. And we can chat instead of actually watching the match. How many good games? I think some of the best watch-alongs we've done have been crap 0-0s. Brenda says, bit of a stretch to say a goal against Wrexham gets Hudson-Odoi into the World Cup squad. He was just opening. I think he was just pushing the conversation. Cecil says, I am a gooner, but I don't hate you, Key. You make me laugh. Well, that's a start. That's what the wife says. Twisted Fate says, I like it when silly Arsenal fans comes in. It allows me to troll them instead of Key. And Noah says, Key, yesterday's game, you guys defended well against Arsenal away at home, but you should have won them. We played well. We did play well. And Prince Rupert says, for once, you're doing an Everton watch-along and I'll be at work for it. Come on, Sunderland, tomorrow. Come on, Sunderland. Callum says, Key, best point under Slot yesterday. What do you reckon? Best point? No, not the best point. I'm not giving Arsenal fans that. But it was a good game. I thought we played well. Right. We are off and underway for a big extra time. 30 minutes. Who wins it in the next 30? Does anyone nail it in the next 30? I am Groot. If you want to watch the Saudi League on Christmas Day, it's key. Yeah, it's true, isn't it? If you want to watch a game of footy on Christmas Day, if you're feeling a bit lonely, if you've not got your family around you and you want to watch a bit of footy, yeah, we put a bit of key on. Why not? Prince Rupert. Oh, sorry. Trevor says Wrexham to win. Come on. Come on, Wrexham. If you want to see Ruth Davidson in a suit for Ballon d'Or, it's key. Fucking Ruth Davidson. Oh. Lucas, are Forest playing well? Forest played very well, I think. Once they went 3-1 down, I think myself and everyone else included thought that was it. It was 15 minutes to go. Forest were 3-1 down. Game was pretty much dead. And, they scored 2 in 10 minutes and turn it round. Absolutely fantastic in the end. And it's made the game really good. La Pulga says Villa looking to sign Conor Gallagher. Villa. That would really help their midfield. I feel that sort of an intensity is what Villa are missing. Brendan says, I think the best point under Slot is a good shout given circumstances and form. This season, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, possibly. Liam, I still remember Leeds v Histon FA Cup game, still haunts me to this day. And be yourself, Dylan. If you're having a bad day, we all come here to laugh, giggle, and chat about anything plus football. That's it. Callum Keys, Peter Kay even looks like him. Peter Kay, Ruth Davidson. Don't think it gets much worse, to be honest. Honestly, there's an Arsenal fan who incessantly messages me on Instagram. I think he's an Arsenal fan. And he keeps calling me like I don't know what word he used. It's some word that I wouldn't quite understand. But he uses some word, but also refers to... is it Simon James? Is it Simon James? Yeah, him. The YouTuber. keeps referring to him. I don't think that's an insult. I'm happy with that. Reese's Footy Feed says, this probably sounds weird and bad, but I enjoy football more when Burnley are in the Championship, so I can enjoy every game as its own entity rather than worrying and comparing our failings to others. Yeah, it's entirely reasonable, I think. Young Kenny from Phoenix Knights. No! Not young Kenny. Justin Morehouse. I've tried everything. I've tried Swarfiga, battery acid. Nothing works. Young Kenny. Oh. Love young Kenny. I love Phoenix Knights. Piss kick. What's a piss kick? Be yourself, Dan. I remember someone said Gru from Despicable Me. Yeah, that one's been up there as well. Gru, Ruth Davidson, Simon James. I'll take it. I think there's another content creator as well, apparently, who will look a lot like. I think he's actually quite well. He's a lot more popular than I am, but I don't know his name. Mo Diame. Yeah, a lot like Mo Diame. I'm like a slightly slimmer version of Pat Boober-Diop at his peak. Brendan says, if you want bad Irish accents, hostility towards Arsenal fans, and Harry Enfield quotes, it's key. Harry Enfield, Alan Partridge, The Office. Yeah, Phoenix Knights. I'm good. Red Dwarf. I'm good with them all. Simon Wilson, that's the one. Simon Wilson, not Simon James. Simon Wilson, I should have got that. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 0. Port Vale are through. Martin Gullersby, I think you look amazing, Key. Nothing weird. You old charmer, you. Cecil says, somebody called you a B-Tech Jason Manford. It's not even like it's a mad insult. I'll take that. That's fine. Jason Manford's all right. Won't mind be a pound behind Jason Manford in the bank. I mean, he's not, you know. I'd be a lot more miffed if I wasn't married. She's locked in. Someone's calling me B-Tech Jason Manford. Well, hey, this is what you're married. This is what you're married, love. Joel Ward to Swansea too, mate. Joel Ward to Swansea? What, Joel Ward's joined Swansea? I didn't even know he was still playing. Swifty, do you have any female fans, Key? Not as yet. Well, I say don't have any female fans. We've got some female regulars, yeah. Sarah's one of our mods. She's fantastic. Shell comes in all the time. Lots of lovely female regulars. I'm not sure I would categorise them as female fans. I wouldn't insult their intelligence, but yeah, I've not yet had any. I've not yet had any stalkers that would be worrying the missus. Don't think I'm likely to get any. Let's be honest. Sean says, I watched Frankfurt v Dortmund. Game was unreal, 3-3. And I am Cruz says, we've had a Marinakis impersonation tonight. Trump is the impersonation he keeps avoiding. I can't do Trump. I did it once or twice was it pre-season that we did Trump? I'm not doing Trump again. Not right now. Anyway, people will confuse it for me being, I don't know, evil and bigoted or whatever. People have got very strong opinions on that sort of thing, haven't they? Sarah says, oh, thank you, Key. No, thank you. Thank you. Brother says, evening, Key. Is this the only game that's gone to extra time? I think it is, yes. I think it is. It's, I think I'm right in saying, let's double check. Yes. Oh, no. MK Dons and Oxford is 1-1 as well. MK Dons and Oxford's 1-1. That's gone to extra time. Preston 0, Wigan 1. Derby, Wigan pinching it late on. Port Vale 1, Fleetwood 0. Reese's Footy Feed says, something I have observed. You're a biggish lad, but whenever someone mentions food, even something relatively ordinary, you've never had it. Started to think you live off fresh air. No, I'm just very... I like what I like. I like what I like. Yeah. And to be honest, the epilepsy plays up. I'm not going to play that off, but the epilepsy, I like my food, but the epilepsy plays a part in that. Because if you take the tablets that I take for the epilepsy, there's nobody in the world who takes what I take and isn't obese. Like proper obese. I reckon I'm on the slim side for people who take the tablets I take. But yeah, no, I don't like a Chinese. I won't touch Chinese, I'll be honest. Like a curry. I do like a curry. But I've not got an issue when it comes to food. Or maybe I do, but not like when people mention it, I've not got like a problem with it. 3-star says that comeback is what we should have done from the start. I still think this game papers over the cracks in recent games. We need to perform against the likes of the Evertons, the Fulhams, all the time. Right, well, Jay Rodriguez is coming on for Wrexham. I am Crute says I could go on a rant about that bloke, but here isn't the place. And Joe says, Key, you're my favourite streamer from St Helens. Thanks, mate. You're so kind. You're never so kind. Right. Forest. I think they've won a free kick here, Wrexham. Have they? Yeah. Oh, no. Smith's down. Should have had a goal in the first half, Smith. Prince Rupert says, by the way, 3-star, do you think you're staying up now after beating West Ham? I'll let 3-star answer that, but I think they've got to. I am Crute. Are there any other streamers in St Helens? Well, I'm sure there is. Sure there are. Come on, Key, get the grammar right. I'm sure there are other streamers in St Helens. Wrexham player going off here, injured. I think it's Smith. Who are they bringing on? I think this is Jay Rodriguez who's coming on for him. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Yeah, Smith's going off. Jay Rodriguez coming on. It's not a bad change for Wrexham, is it? Let's be honest. Swifty, what do you take? Gabapentin? No, Valpro ain't, mate. Valpro ain't. Yeah. Forest knocking it long. And Wrexham get it back. Well, we're very nearly half-time in the first half of extra time. Not really been any team that's taken initiative so far. Wrexham knock it long, up the line. Forest get it away. It's all a bit scrappy. Out for another throw-in. You still do 5-a-side, mate. I haven't done it since about November. We didn't do it in December because all the pitches got booked up. A lot of the pitches that we were looking at were frozen. So the group of lads that I have been doing it with, we're still in like a WhatsApp group and stuff, and still sort of planning to do it in January. But we haven't booked one for this week. So maybe one actually for next week. It's one of them where someone's got to take the initiative. Someone's got to start, right, are we doing it this year, lads? So someone's got to do it, then book the place and get everyone arranged. And it's like, who can be arsed? Everyone's still got... But there's literally like 35 of us in this group. I'm trying to get even just 10. Like 5-a-side, 10 blokes. Get 10 blokes who can play on like a Wednesday night at 7 till 8. I mean, I can't do a Wednesday night 7 till 8, can I? Because I'm always streaming. So I have to do like a Monday 9 till 10 when there's not a game on. Or a Monday 5 till 6 or 6 till 7 maybe. And then come here knackered. Says, is this embarrassing from Forest, Key? I don't think it's embarrassing, no. I don't think it's embarrassing. I think Forest have rotated heavily. They've come to a side that's in very good form in the Championship. These two are a lot closer in quality if Wrexham are playing the full strength team. I think Wrexham would have given them a game if it was Forest's best against Wrexham's best. I really do. So the fact that Wrexham rotated quite heavily, Forest rotated quite heavily, it was always going to be a bit of a wild card. And the Racecourse Ground is a difficult place to go. So, and to be honest, Coventry found that out. Coventry got battered here not that long ago, didn't they? So I think Wrexham can absolutely hold their heads up high here. And Forest, I don't think it's embarrassing at all. I think they've rotated. If they manage to get the win, they go through, whether it's in extra time or on penalties, whatever. I think Forest have deserved plaudits off the back of this. R says, why is gifting being suspended on the tickers, bro? Because it claimed that I had asked for gifts, which, again, anyone who watches this channel knows I've never asked for gifts. I've never, ever asked for gifts. I wouldn't ask for gifts. I'm not interested in... Not that I'm not interested in them. They're always really welcome. They are. And I really do appreciate it. But I would much prefer people to comment and like and share and all that stuff. That's far, far more valuable to me. If you want to show appreciation, gifting's always welcome and appreciated, but don't feel like you need to. I'd much prefer you to just be in the chat, talking, sharing your opinions, sharing your views. There's me thinking I could get my fan club level to 10. You might be able to, mate. You really might be able to, but just not right now. I think it's been suspended for it might be 72 hours. I don't know. I've not turned it off, though. So keep coming back and check it. You might be able to. Ryan looks nervous. Cov City says, even with this slip-up, do you think we'll win the league? Cov fan. I think Coventry will win the league, yes. Yeah, I think Coventry will win it. And Brendan says, play Astro Football 9 till 10 Monday nights, probably 40 to 50 in the group, and to get 10 or 12 is nearly always a struggle. It's always the way in these groups. It is, isn't it? Yeah, that's the problem we're having. That is the problem we're having to get, because we're all middle-aged blokes now with families. It's not like I remember having them groups when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, and all the lads in it, the worry was more that you had too many. You would say, right, lads, Tuesday night, 7:30, 8 o'clock, who's playing? And it would be like bang, 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 everyone booked up dead quick, and then you'd end up playing like 9-a-side on a 5-a-side pitch. Or have rolling subs because there was too many people who wanted play. Now, it's so hard to get a bunch of people who'll play football together. So I'd love to play. I would love to play more, but I don't think it's going to be possible all the time. But we have got a good bunch of lads, and maybe we can figure it out for January soon. I Am Crew says, do you think Lincoln are going up through the automatics, or will it be another playoff situation? No, I do back the Imps. I think the Imps are going up. They beat Peterborough the other day, didn't they? Was that the last game they played? Lincoln against Posh? I think it was. Lincoln played very well. Posh in great form as well. So yeah, I think Lincoln will go up. Yeah. Got a soft spot for Lincoln. Used to work with them, so I like Lincoln. Quite like to see Swindon go up as well, to be honest. Twisted Fate says, to be honest, that gap means you've got to lose 3 games. Hudson Odoi, again, with another effort. Whilst they have to win 2, draw 1, I don't see them catching personally. I think if it looks like Forest are going to start getting dragged back in by West Ham, because it'll only take, honestly, one win for West Ham. Let's say West Ham win 2 games and Forest lose 1, draw 1. All of a sudden, that gap is right down again. It's really not that insurmountable. Joe says, Key, what did you do for the football clubs, if you don't mind me asking? I worked in advertising, mate. I used to sell advertising and it was worked in like recruitment and advertising basically. So I used to help football clubs recruit often non-football based staff, sometimes football staff as well. We actually, believe it or not, helped Brighton recruit staff, scouts. Cov City says, would you say the Championship or the EFL in general is the most exciting and entertaining leagues in Europe? Definitely amongst them. Absolutely it is, Cov City, yeah. Absolutely, mate. We, as you know, I mean, I don't know how new you are to the channel, mate. If you're new, I've not seen your name around in the chat for a while, but yeah, if you're new, then you'll know we watch an awful lot of Championship football. It's called Premier League, Dad, but we're covering the FA Cup, we're covering the AFCON, the Premier League, we're doing Serie A, we're doing the Spanish Super Cup on Sunday, and I try and watch as much Championship footy as I can, because I think, well, 2 things. One, it's mega exciting, as you know, very entertaining. It's a really close league. The gap between like 2nd and 12th, 13th is like 6 points, 7 points. It's not an awful lot. Borough have had a little bit of a fall recently. They've won 1 of the last 5, so they're not guaranteed to be second automatic spot. Ipswich have started kind of coming from nowhere. Even maybe Sheffield United coming from nowhere. So yeah, I love watching the Championship. Let me just fix the timer, sorry, because I've just realised it's only half time. 105... 10. Right, there you go. Right, last 15 minutes before potential penalty shootout. Do we think we're going to get a goal? Wrexham chance! We might get one! Oh, Sells with a big save. I am Croots says, always loved Liverpool, but lived in Lincoln since I was 2. 26 now, so I'll always watch him. That cup run about 10 years ago was so special around the city. Liverpool played him as well in the cup not that long ago, didn't we? Plus we signed Jack Hobbs from Lincoln City. I'm not sure if you'd have remembered Jack Hobbs. That might be a bit before your time, but he was a like highly tipped to be a great young centre back. He never quite made it at Liverpool, but we signed him around the time we won the Champions League with Benitez. Says, do social media managers get told what to post, or is it their job to post what they think is suitable? It's usually their job to understand what is the tone of voice of the brand, I guess. So if you're a social media manager, you'll understand what that person deems acceptable, what sort of comments they would typically make. You might contact them if it's a specific thing to get a quote beforehand and then be steered on it. But generally speaking, that's your job, is to post approved stuff. And after a while, maybe you can make some comments. I am Crute says, so Key is the reason Chelsea keep pinching everyone off Brighton. Samoa says, Key, you owed some of the success for Brighton then. Well, yeah, I'd say so. Brendan says, is extra time a waste of time? Should all cup and European knockout games just go straight to pens? I'd love them to bring in MLS pens. I don't like penalty shootouts in that. I'd much rather we have MLS pens, bring them in. Get Arsene Wenger to bring in MLS pens. Vos Styler says, Key, what do you think will happen tomorrow with Newcastle and Semenyo gone? What, Newcastle-Bournemouth? I still think Bournemouth can get the job done there. Is it at Bournemouth? Or is it St James's Park? Murillo over the free kick here. Murillo has a free kick 25 yards out. Left-footed. Murillo, strike! Miles wide. R says, did you hear about the racial abuse Joe Willett received after his miss against Palace? Yes. Joe, who's one of our regulars, he's a Newcastle fan, he told us about it. It's very sad. Very, very sad. But again, not particularly surprising. Again, people, if you've got a presence on social media, you're going to get stick. And that stick will be whatever people think will hurt you the most. So if... whatever your ism is, let's say it's racism, homophobia, sexism, ableism, whatever those things are, you'll get stick for it. That's just how it is. That's life. People, trolls will, because they're attention seeking at the end of the day, they'll just say whatever they think gets the biggest. What can I do that might upset them the most? So yeah, that's all it is. Joe, it's at St James's. Okay, well, if it's at St James's, then I think maybe Bournemouth might struggle. But then again, they did beat St James's, beat them at St James's Park last year, didn't they? Brendan says, if Brighton get Champions League or win a cup, will you get a slice of the action? Somehow, I don't think so. But I have got a lot of lovely people who I used to work with at Brighton, both on the kind of non-footballing side and on the footballing side who I spoke to. So yeah, and the same at Lincoln, and the same at Liverpool Football Club as well. We used to work with them. Reece says, what a game this has turned out to be. Wow. 6-goal thriller. 10 minutes left. Forest pushing on to try and get the winner. Strike from distance here, maybe. Oh, no. Referees pulled it back. I am Crute says, I'd love to see Golden Goal. Why was it ever scrapped? In FA Cups, maybe. Joe says, let's not talk about it, Feel very sorry for him. Not the first time he's experienced it. Yeah, well, I was going to say, it's to be honest, again, that's not saying it makes it any easier to accept, because I wouldn't understand that, but I would say you'll always get stick, and you'll always get stick for whatever the thing is that people think they can hurt you with the most. And if that's the thing they think they can hurt you with the most, then that's what you'll get every time. Cov City says, what are your thoughts on Bradley's incident last night? I think Martinelli it was quite classless from Martinelli. But he's apologised. Arne Slot defended him actually and came out and said he seems like a nice guy. I don't think he realised how injured Bradley was. You can't expect him to think clearly in the 94th minute when he's trying to win a game of football. But I would say he got it madly wrong. He shouldn't have done what he did. And Arsenal fans coming out and saying, yeah, well, blah, 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 I don't think defending him is a particularly good look. Brendan says you're being modest. It sounds like you were a pretty big deal. Oh, I didn't say I wasn't a big deal. Kind of a big deal. I do have many leather-bound books that smell of rich mahogany. Samoa Bob, I had no idea you worked in football. That's really interesting to hear. Would love to know more about it. I didn't work in football, to be absolutely crystal clear. I worked in advertising. And I worked with football clubs. So the football club's advertising was geared around recruitment, and it was often focused on non-football side, but quite frequently overlapped into football side with some football clubs. Brighton being one, we did recruit a lot of the football coaching staff, sometimes at a junior level, sometimes in the women's side of the game as well, and sometimes in the scouting side of it. But the vast majority of the stuff we did for Brighton was non-playing side. Joel says, evening, sir. I'm just tuning in. Must be a great game so far. Fantastic game. Absolutely fantastic game. Morato's just been yellow carded. We've got 8 minutes left, plus whatever added time, and then a penalty shootout. It's going to be a big, big finish to this game. Wrexham header comes out to the edge of the box and behind for the goal kick. Daz says, good game. It is, mate. Yeah, I think it's been a really good game, this one. 3-3, astonishing. Great win for Port Vale as well, by the way, over Fleetwood. Samoa Bob says, was he trying to win the game? He should probably talk to Arteta about that. Clearly he wasn't. And I am Cruz is in the role you're in. Do you ever meet the managers or the owners of clubs? No. We didn't ever get that high up. The sign-off was nearly always from director level, to be fair, director level at club, but not sporting directors. They were always like FDs and stuff like that. Probably people who Tony Bloom did work with at Brighton very closely, though. I spoke to the FD at Brighton. Prince Rupert says Martinelli even apologised on social media himself. Weird to keep defending him after that. At the end of the day, look, they're still going to win the league at some point, and I don't think Arsenal fans need to defend what shouldn't really be defended. You should just say it's been a crap. It was a crap thing to do, a crappy thing to do. He got it wrong. End of story. That's it. Right, Wrexham on the counter attack here. 6 minutes to go. Driving into the box. Oh, good clearance from Wrexham. Joe says, did you live in Brighton then, or was it work from home? No. Honestly, Brighton was just one client of many. I had like 200-300 clients at any one time. It was quite a decent business. But yeah, it was always from the northwest. Brendan, got it. So you were Brighton's head. Basically, I was Brighton's head scout. Basically, they phoned me up and was like, Key, we need a new CDM because, and Wepu's finishing, so any chance you can get anyone else in? I was like, yeah, belabor. Just go and get him, lad. That's it. Job done. I am Cruz says Key was definitely writing down his football manager signings and sliding them into the emails. Tony, listen, you need this fella. Cherno Samba. Cov City says, do you not see City catching Arsenal? I do, yes. I predicted City to win the league at the start of the season. I still think City can. It's going to take some doing, but I think Arsenal... I think we saw enough from Arsenal last night to believe that they're not necessarily the finished product here. Ball in. Oh, Wrexham, keep it out. It's getting a bit desperate at the back here for Wrexham. There's only 5 minutes to go, but Forest are putting the balls in. They're getting it on top, and Wrexham are just... It's a little bit scrappy trying to get it away. This might be where the Premier League experience and resilience counts. The will to fight to the end. Wrexham defending deep. Everyone in the box. Ball in. Okonkwo comes out. Punches clear. Only as far as Hudson-Odoi. Last 5 minutes. Murillo. Strike. Why is Murillo's Nottingham Forest furthest forward? He's the centre-back. What's going on? Viscera Barça Tulanya says, why do you hate Arsenal? Focus on Liverpool and not Arsenal, the greatest team in London. I don't focus on Arsenal, mate. We're watching Wrexham against Forest now. You're the only person who's brought them up, funnily enough. Strike, good save from Okonkwo. Did you scout Valentino Barco? I didn't, no. I wouldn't have taken credit for that one. Samo Bob, if you were to work directly in football, what would you want to do? I don't think I would. Maybe scouting. Maybe a version of this. Possibly. Watching games for a living. Yeah, maybe some form of scouting. Cov City says, it'll come down to when City play Arsenal for me. Whoever wins that game wins the league. But are Arsenal really going to go for it? This is why I think psychologically, mate, last night was a big thing for Arsenal. That's a big barrier to get over. Can you go and beat the champions? Last time they played City, do you remember last year? Famously, it got down to the last few minutes and the ref blew up and the Arsenal fans went, yes! Draw at City, get in there. And they lost the league. They've done this before. Like, psychologically, going winning at your rivals is massive. And I know Liverpool aren't technically Arsenal's rivals this year, but we are the champions. And that was a perfect opportunity for them to beat us last night, and they didn't do it. For Styler says something was really off about Arsenal yesterday. It's like they didn't want to play. They aren't winning the league like that, and I root for them to win it. Prince Rupert, don't take the bait, Key. I'm not reading Arsenal-related stuff. We'll leave it. I am Crew. Key was spotted at Getafe games with a notepad, and a week later they signed Cucurella. Just one example. Some more Bob AFTV never fails to entertain and provide meme material. But they're very good at it. Very good at it. Lucas, what's Connor's injury? We just know it's knee related. There hasn't been a full kind of prognosis given. There's some people on Twitter who seem to know that it's just a jarred knee, and actually he's only going to be out for a couple of weeks. Slight, strain or whatever. He's maybe overstretched it. There's other people who think that's actually him done now for the season. We probably don't see until next year. But we don't know. We honestly don't know. Samoa Bob says the slow-mo looked bad. Didn't see it on the broadcast, but on Twitter today. He was... It looks like he's overextended it, which could well be a... We don't know. Could be a twisted knee, could be an ACL. Cov City says, would you say if we come up, we could stay up? I think it depends very much on... Oh, chance! Clear it away! Wrexham just about away, but only as far as the edge of the box. Strike. Blocked. 90 seconds left. Wrexham hanging on for dear life here, by a thread. Cov City, would you say if you came up, you'd stay up? I think it's a little bit like Sunderland. It depends on what sort of signings you make. I don't think you'll stay up with the team you've got. But, you look at Burnley. Strike, good save from Okonkwo. You look at Burnley. Burnley finished miles ahead of Sunderland. Didn't really make that much reinforcements. Lost a few players. But just didn't quite make the right reinforcements. They've not managed to thrive in the Premier League. They probably will go down. And then you look at Sunderland, who spent massive amounts. Wrexham are in! Oh, nearly. It's going to be a yellow card here. Oh, referee's dropped his yellow card. Who's he booked? Is he booked him for a dive? He's booked him for a dive there. Windass booked for diving, and he's not complaining either. Let's watch this back. This could have been a booking straight for diving. I think Windass has been given it. Callum Hudson-Odoi has been named player of the match. I think that's entirely fair. He's come off the bench at 3-1 down, and he's won the well, basically got Forest back in the game. He's going to take it to a penalty shootout here. But here is Hudson-Odoi. Could Forest pinch it late on? There's not going to be that long left. We're into the final minute. This might be the final chance. Hudson-Odoi, far post. Terrible ball, straight out of play. And it's a penalty shootout. There you go. Penalties. Penalty kicks. Penalty kicks to come. Cov City says we've just got SA on loan in this window, and I think if we go up, go for SA permanently, possibly, but you'll need better. SA is not going to be a player that you need. I think the players that you've got right now who are starters for Coventry, you need to go and get better than them. Like Sunderland went out and signed whatever it was, 6-7 players maybe for very good money, spent decent money. Coventry are going to have to do that to stay up. I don't think this Coventry side, the majority of the players you have are not Premier League players, in my opinion anyway. I think you'd need them to be supplemented with some experience, some better quality. You'd need to spend quite big. Because I think the ones that have come up this year, Burnley, they're definitely going down, Burnley. I still think Leeds will. And Leeds reinforced a little bit. Maybe not that much, but they reinforced a little bit. I think Leeds go down, and I think Burnley go down. Sarah says, I love Pens as long as it's not Liverpool. Lord Yorkshire, who are you taking on Pens? I have a general rule with penalties that the team that looked the strongest in the game generally is the one that throws it away. And I've seen that. It's not always an absolute rule, but it does tend to follow that pattern. If a team plays really well in the game and they're dominating and you think they should win it and they are in open play, they are the better side, as soon as it gets to penalties, it's almost like, oh, we should have won that in open play. And if they don't get it done in open play, then sometimes penalties goes against them. So for me, I fancy Wrexham here. And that's not just me because I'm being the underdog, the contrarian, whatever. I actually think Wrexham will do okay now. I think Wrexham do win on penalties. Mr. Luke Etherington, is it replay or extra time if it's a draw? It is a draw and it is penalties, Luke. Prince Rupert says, I know it's immature, but a name like Windass, he must have had a horrible childhood. Windy Ass. Josh Windy Ass. Yeah, who are you taking on Pens? Who do you think? Let me know in the chat. Get in the chat who you think's winning on penalties. In fact, let's do a quick poll now. Let's do a quick poll on YouTube. End poll. And start a new poll. Who wins on Pens? Wrexham, Forest. Right, there you go. Get your votes in. Get your votes in now. Who wins on Pens? Wrexham or Forest? Some Bob says Wrexham because they have to make a TV show about it. And I am Crute says Hudson-Odoi is going to go from 0 to 0. We'll miss the decisive penalty and Wrexham to win. It's life imitating art. It happens all the time. It's a prime example. Cov City says, let's back Wrexham, why not? Nice to see a lower side upset the big boys. And Tobe says, we'd win on Pen, 3-star, not tempting fate in the poll key. Oh, I was really trying to reel you in. Well, here is, speaking of Windy Ass, Josh Windy Ass and his childish, immature name. It is him to take the first penalty for Wrexham. I am Cruise's key. Why do you think Leeds will still go down? West Ham and Forest in a much worse ruck. I just feel like they've not got the goals in them. That's all I can say. Windass right-footed, straight down the middle. It's 1-0 Wrexham. 1-0 Wrexham. I really need to get a penalties graphic, don't I? I need to get a penalties graphic or something. Oh. Michael says Sunderland got promotion on the cheap, plus they showed Bellingham for 30-odd million, which gave them more finance. Leeds and Burnley were hampered by PSR through spending to get out of the division. This is it. I feel like they're not going to need to do better, Coventry. Brendan says, did De Zerbi leave because you and him were having a power struggle and you had to pull rank? He hated it, him. He hated it. Here we go. Hudson-Odoi. Oh, no, it's Gibbs-White, isn't it? Is it Gibbs-White? When did he sneak on? Gibbs-White, right-footed for Forest. Right in the bottom corner. Easy peasy. Gibbs-White, it's 1-1. Arab Joe, is this going to pens? It's on penalties now, mate. It's Wrexham 1, Forest 1. Both of them have taken a penalty each and both of them have scored it. MK Dons has gone to penalties too. And Geordie says, what's happening to Forest, mate? I think there's a crisis at Forest in terms of the players. There's a few players who think they're going in the summer, and I think Gibbs-White's one of them. Murillo's one of them. I think there's a few others who look at it and think, yeah, we've got Europe, and now I think we've got a chance to move on. James McLean steps up, experienced, miles over the bar. James McLean, he's come off the bench to take a penalty, and he's missed it. First miss. First team to blink is Wrexham. It's a shocking penalty. Poor penalty that from James McLean. And it's Wrexham 1, Forest 1 still. Wrexham have taken 2 pens. Prince Rupert, I think experience wins here. Going for Forest. Well, 61% of the chat thinks Forest on the poll. I am Crute. I wonder who James McLean will chin now he's missed a penalty. Igor Jesus. Brazilians don't miss, do they? Igor Jesus for Forest to put them in front in the penalty shootout. Right-footed. He saved it! Okonkwo saved it! It's 1-1. 2 penalties each, but still 1-1. Oh, it's a great penalty save, that. I'm not sure that was a particularly good penalty, but I think he did well to push that away. Watch this back. Oh, it's a good height for him. It's a good height. Tempted fate there, Key. Cannot stand James McLean, says Reese. Brazilians don't miss. That's another classic Key line that never proved to be right. Here we go. Matt Sells in goal, misses. Oh no, he scored it. Doyle scored it. I thought he'd put that wide then. Doyle scored for Wrexham. MT says it's the wrong Igor. Igor Thiago wouldn't miss. And Brendan says, nice to hear the crowd being sympathetic to McLean for missing the penalty. Right, here's Callum Hudson-Odoi. Now, Callum Hudson-Odoi to miss is what Will said, didn't it? Will said he misses this. Oh, he doesn't. He puts it top corner. Top corner. There you go. 3 penalties each. And it's 2-2. 2 scores, 1 miss. Hey, I tell you what. He's making some good dives, though, Okonkwo. Now, who's up next? Who's up next for Wrexham? Left-footed. Oh, it's a good pen. Right in the corner from Thomason. Again, another one who's been brought on as a sub. And it's 3-2 now. Almost gets there, the keeper. Again, just a quick reminder. Just in between these penalties, Nico Williams is about to step up. If you're new around here, do one thing for me. Click like on the video. Make sure you're followed. Make sure you've subscribed. I'm live every single day doing these watch-alongs. We're live for 2 more games tomorrow and 2 on Sunday. Nico Williams, right-footed. Oh, it's a good pen again. It's 3-3. 4 penalties each, 3-3. And we're basically at sudden death now. One team misses and it's sudden death. The other team can win if they score. Unlucky that, Okonkwo. Yeah, 2 games tomorrow. Everton, Sunderland at 12 o'clock. And then 5:30. Is it Tottenham? It's Tottenham Villa or Villa Tottenham? Either way, Tottenham are against Aston Villa. Not sure if it's at Villa Park or at Tottenham. But I think it is at Villa Park. It's Villa Tottenham, isn't it? Jay Rodriguez. Premier League experience. Jay Rodriguez should score. Jay Rodriguez, right-footed. Ex-Burnley. Oh, he does score. There's nothing wrong with that. Jay Rodriguez. And now it is shit or bust for Nottingham Forest. They have to score this one. They have to score this. Charlie NFFC says, come on, Forest, don't ruin my weekend again. Do not ruin my weekend again. Who's taking this one? Is it Hutchinson? It's £40 million Hutchinson. Where is this kid? Honestly, where has this money come from for him? One of the one of the less talked about flops of the season. Amari Hutchinson, left-footed against Okonkwo. Miss and Forest are out. He does miss! Wrexham are through! Okonkwo saved it! Oh my God! It's there! Wrexham are through! Goodness me! Forest crash out of the FA Cup to Wrexham on penalties. 4-3. Goodness me. And now, Marinakis, does he pull the trigger on Dyche? Amari Hutchinson misses it. And Oxford have gone through against MK Dons as well. Okonkwo has won it there, and Amari Hutchinson, you can say he's gutted. He's absolutely gutted. But it's a great save from Okonkwo. Reese says Sean Dyche sacked by midnight. Charlie says Dyche has to go, but who will replace him? Have you heard of a certain Ruben Amorim? Empty says Disney are going to rake in the cash. And Reese says it's at Spurs. Spurs would rather be away, quite frankly. Frank will be out by 8 p.m. tomorrow. Charlie says weekend ruin. Cheers, Forest. Oh, hey, well, there you go. Michael Brown says who will be the first to go? Dyche or Nuno? I would say, I think Dyche. With the way Marinakis is, he sacked 2 managers. 2 managers before Christmas. If you're sacking 2 managers before Christmas, there's every chance you'll sack one before Easter. I'm telling you. Charlie says if we get Amorim, I'll start watching darts instead, and Liam Nuno to come back and Marinakis to give him a massive apology. It says Amorim to Forest. 3-star, congratulations Wrexham. Sorry, 3-star. It's a shame. Forest are in the mud at the minute. It's not a good time to be a Forest fan, and FA Cup defeats. Maybe not. Listen, end of the day, Forest priority has to be Europe and staying up in the Premier League, the way this season's gone. So, someone asked earlier in the chat, is this embarrassing for Forest? No, I don't think it is. I think we've got to remember context. This isn't a minnow. This is Wrexham, who are 1 point off the playoffs, only a few points off the automatic spots in the Championship. They've won 4 games on the spin. Phil Parkinson's a great manager. They've got loads of resources, loads of ex-Premier League experience there. And they're on a great winning run at the Racecourse Ground here. It's a really, really difficult place to go. They beat Coventry earlier in the season here. So let's not underplay it. It's a really, really big win for Wrexham. Forest rotated heavily. They've gone out. Dyche will privately, I think, be quite happy with that. Less fixtures, fewer impacts on the squad. He can play his better teams now in Europe and in the Premier League. Tobe says, what did I say? Wrexham win, Hutchinson to miss, last one. I think you did, didn't you? Fair play, Tobes. Those are excellent saves by Okonkwo, by the way. You're only saying that because he's ex-Arsenal, aren't you? Samoa Bob says, is Amarim's stock that bad that he'd go to Forest? Not that Forest are a bad team, but the owner has to give him pause. I think a lot of a lot of managers would look at Forest as a red flag at the minute. Would Amarim, though? I think Amarim has got massive unfinished business in the Premier League. So there's every chance, isn't there? There's every chance that he would look at Forest or West Ham or any of the teams that are maybe considering sacking their manager and think, maybe there is a prospect of... Do you know who I do think Amarim ends up going? Do you know who I think Amarim ends up going to? Everton. I'm calling it now. I think Everton, because I've said it all day, all season, and Everton fans won't have it. I think they get very tired with David Moyes lingering them down near the bottom. They want someone who's ambitious. They want someone who's maybe a bit more... I don't know, bit more European, shiny, I can win things. Ruben Amorim to Everton, I'm telling you. He absolutely wants to he's got unfinished business in the Prem, and I think Everton are yearning for an ambitious young manager, and I think Amorim fits the bill. So you heard it here first. I Am Crew says a 3 at the back could work at Forest, to be fair. Would show them up defensively. Do you think Europe could impact Forest in the league? It could. And and then Europe, by the way, this is another thing. Forest crash out of Europe. That affects the coefficient spot for England. And therefore, 5th probably doesn't get Champions League footy this year. Forest crash out. Maybe Palace crash out. We don't know what happens with Villa yet. Maybe Spurs, Newcastle, maybe they don't do so well in Europe. Chelsea might not. We don't know what happens. But those European places absolutely have a massive impact on whether 5th spot gets Champions League footy next year. I Am Crew just seen, apparently Liverpool have inquired about Noosa from Leipzig. I like that. I like that idea. Prince Rupert, we better get him the right players first. I think he would relish the opportunity of working with Michael Keane and Tarkovsky. Tobes, I will subscribe now. Thank you very much, Tobes. Really appreciate it, mate. Listen, I'm going to shoot off now because I have got to be live in another 12 hours or so, basically. We're live for Everton against Sunderland in the FA Cup. That's a 12 o'clock kickoff tomorrow. So if you want to watch more FA Cup watch-alongs tomorrow, make sure you've given us a like, make sure you've followed, subscribed, all that good stuff. Everton v Sunderland, 12 o'clock tomorrow. I'll be live at about 11:30. And then we're doing Tottenham against Aston Villa in the big 5:30 game. Sunday, we're doing Derby County against Leeds, another big FA Cup game, followed by the Spanish Cup final out in Saudi Arabia, Real Madrid against Barcelona. What do you make of that one? Before Monday Night Football, FA Cup, Liverpool against Barnsley. Can Liverpool get the win that we probably deserved against Arsenal against Barnsley? Hopefully we will. But right, listen, lots of love. Really appreciate you for being in the chat and the comments and all that good stuff. Absolutely love you to bits. I'll see you all tomorrow, maybe for Everton. See you soon. Take it easy. Good night.